All right, here we go. We have Roc-a-Fella royalty in the building. Oschino finally on Vlad TV.
Finally on Vlad TV. Yeah, man. Y'all popping, man.
Hey,
it's
crazy.
It's crazy because I've been on the Breakfast Club, Text Tone, Drink Champs. Then this like the final stop. Like, you know what I mean? You got to come to Vlad TV. You know what I mean? So yeah, I covered all the
final
bases
boss,
now.
the final boss level right here.
Yeah. You know what I mean? For sure.
Well, this is your first time here. I want to start in the very beginning.
Okay.
Born and raised in North Philly.
Yes.
Now, your parents kind of had a very unique situation.
Yeah. Well,
so your dad was 20 years older than your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. How old was your dad and your mom when they had you?
Well, my mom was 20 and my dad was like 40.
Okay.
Something like that, you know what I mean? So, I mean, a big difference. Like, so my sister and my mom is like the same age.
Right, from your dad's side.
Yeah.
Okay, and your dad had how many kids?
Well, I just found the brother actually I took the DNA ancestry thing and found another brother, so like about 14, I guess.
14 kids?
Yeah, and I'm like number 11.
Have you met all of them?
Yeah, I know no, I don't know all of them. It's 2 I've never met, but
okay,
the rest, I know all of the rest, yeah.
Okay, so your dad started dating your mom, and your mom's family had an issue with it. Yeah.
I just found all this out when I was like maybe 5 years ago. I never knew till like 5 years ago, but they had an issue with it. You know what I mean? Then they say he got her hooked on drugs, whatever. But so, you know, when they had me, it was like a reminder like of what they told her not to do. You know what I mean? But I never knew that growing up. I just didn't know why they ain't mess with me like that. I just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Okay, so your mom and dad are growing up with you, and like you just mentioned, your mom started getting hooked on drugs from your dad. Do you know what drug it was?
It was crack.
It was crack.
In the 80s.
Right, because right around that time, that's the crack era.
That's the real crack. That's not the crack they be selling now. That's the crack that when you smoke it, you selling everything, you stealing everything. You not, I mean, because now people can like, they could smoke crack and still go to work and things like that. Back then, but you smoke crack, it's over. Like, that's all you do, period. You know what I mean?
I mean, how old were you when you realized that your parents are doing drugs?
Like about 6 or 7. Yeah, because I went to the foster home when I was 9. So by the time I went to the foster home, I already knew for a couple years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was like, I didn't know really what it was. I just knew that it was bad, and that, like they were selling all this stuff. We don't have no money, no food, stuff like that. So I mean, I knew. Plus, you know, people talked about crack. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it was like a drug and that it was bad, and I knew how it smelled. You know what I mean? So from the rip, I mean, 6 years old is when it first started, like ruining my life. You know what I mean?
Well, I have people in my family whose parents were drug addicts, so I know some of these stories, unfortunately. What do you think was the worst thing you experienced during this time?
Man, you gotta remember, in North Philly, even if your parents not on drugs, North Philly is terrible. You know what I mean? It's like, it's terrible, but the neighborhood I was from, it's called Beirut. It's like real bad. It's like, it looks bad. Back then, they used to just sell drugs on the corner by saying, red tops, while the cops riding past and everything, they didn't care. The cops didn't really bother them. But I mean, I seen everything, murders and I mean everything. But you know, that's how Philly is anyway. Philly is dangerous, a dangerous place. It's always been a dangerous place. You know what I mean? But growing up, you know what I mean, you seeing your mom, you know, moms selling themselves. You can see them selling themselves, getting in cars, getting out of cars. You know what I mean? So as a kid, you start being numb to it, but you know, start making it like normal to you, but you still know it's not normal. You know what I mean? So it's a mind fuck, like for real. You know what I mean?
Well, before foster care, you went to go live with your grandmother, right?
Yeah, and she didn't like me. I never knew why she didn't like me, but you know, I found out later that she didn't like me because I was a reminder of, you know what I mean, my dad messing with my mom, something they told her not to do. Because I had a brother that was already there. My mom had a son before me. He lived there already, so you know he called my grandma his mom. He slept in the bed with her. When I came, she didn't want me there. So I mean, so she wouldn't feed me. I mean, stuff like that. Then she called foster care to come get me. I mean, so like. Mind you, she lived in a house with 4 bedrooms, and she lived there by herself. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just like one of them things was, she didn't like me. So I never knew why when I was growing up, but I found out when I was an adult what it was all about. You know what I mean? So.
Well, right. When social services came to take you and your siblings, your grandmother said to leave your brother, to take you and your sisters.
Yeah, yep. And my brother was older than me by like a year and a half. I mean, she's like, no, don't grab him, take them. I mean, so it was like, imagine they came in there and physically snatched you out the house you know what I mean, take you away somewhere and don't tell you where you're going and nothing like that. And as a 9-year-old, you know what I mean, with your 2 little sisters, it's like kind of like, you know, it's real heartbreaking, you know what I mean? Especially when you're there for years. It ain't like you go there and then you're gonna get saved. You're there and then you're gonna be there for, I mean, well, I kept running away, so I kept going to different ones. But, I mean, it's almost like being in jail, but you didn't do a crime yet. You know what I mean?
Well, first, your mom gives you up, then your grandmother gives you up.
Yeah.
So are you just dealing with a lot at this point in terms of abandonment issues?
I tell people all the time, but definitely dealing with abandonment issues, but I think being still happened to me so young is all I knew, kinda. So it wasn't like a thing where I had it good, then it turned bad. It was like, that's really all I knew. I mean, and everywhere I went, I was like popular, like, I mean, juvenile placements at prisons and, you know what I mean? So like, I think it would have been worse if I knew about a good life and then it turned bad, you know what I mean? But the business that was bad, like, I mean, that's all I knew. It wasn't really, I think it don't affect me as bad as it would if I had a good life and then it turned bad. You know, at 9 years old, 8 years old, 7 years old, you just learning about what life is. You know what I mean? So if it's bad already, you know what I mean, that's all you know. You know what I mean?
Well, I've interviewed a number of people that have been through the foster care system. Some of them said it was actually pretty cool and they had good foster parents. Other ones said that it was a horror show where they had to go to like 20 different foster homes and so forth, and everything in between.
Oh yeah, I went to 3.
Okay, what was your overall experience? Was it okay or was it bad?
Well, let me give a story. So the first foster home I went was with my 2 sisters. I ran away. One of my sisters didn't want to go, so I left both of them there. I said, y'all got to stay together. And the second one I went to, it was this girl there. She had like, what's that, vitiligo, that pink stuff on your face? And she was deaf. So they would leave, she was like 16. They would leave her in charge. I was like 9 years old still. And she used to come in the room. It was a boys' room and a girls' room. She'd come in the boys' room and grab my friend Jose and molest him, right? Yeah, take him out the room, because she was big. He was like 9. He was like the same age as me. Take him, do whatever. And I used to always act like I'm asleep. And I was so scared of her, right? Then they used to make us do yard work. So one day we in the yard doing work. And when she came back, she like pinched my butt. And I turned, you know, what's them things called? You do like the shares, like you, Brutus the Barber Beefcake on wrestling used to have them, remember? Anyway, I turned around and like poked her with them. Not nothing hard to make her bleed or nothing. But she started screaming, he tried to kill me and this, that, and the third. And she told the people on me, and you know, I was young, they asked me what happened, I wouldn't say nothing, because I was scared. I mean, I just didn't say nothing, so they took me to another foster home that was like jail, locked in. Because they looked at it like I was like a bad person. They didn't know what she was doing. I mean, and I didn't say nothing because I was a kid. I was like, so the last foster home I was in was kind of rough. It was like bars, like, I mean, it's like jail basically, but it's just a foster home, I mean. They take you to school on a van and sit in the classroom with you. They actually sit in the classroom with you, I mean. So like, I mean, it was like, it wasn't good for a kid. Plus you already, when you're in a foster home, you're not getting no love, you're not getting no attention. There's a lot of kids, I mean, no one care about you. It's just not good to grow up in a place like that, period. Even if it's you're not getting like no physical or sexual abuse, it's still bad because you by yourself. I mean, you're fending for yourself.
Well, as you're going through this, at one point, you end up doing your first robbery.
Yeah. Well, first I broke in a newsstand. So I ran away from the 3rd foster home. I broke in the newsstand. I got caught breaking it in the newsstand. And when you do a crime, no matter how small it is, and you went from foster care, you got to go to a placement because they know you don't have nowhere to live at. So you automatically go to a placement. So I started going to placements right then and there. So I ended up doing like 5 years before I was like 16. I was like, I mean, different places. I mean, then I went to adult prison when I was 16. I mean, so it was like that was just the placement. I mean, it's like it's basically you getting graduating in the system from foster care to juvenile placements to adult prison. I mean, pipeline.
Okay, so you end up robbing a newsstand at how old?
Well, I was trying to break in it. I was 9 or 10 because I just ran from the foster home. I was trying to get some candy out. You know, if newsstands had the candy in it, and I didn't even get in it. They caught me trying to break in it, and then I went to a place. I think I went to St. Michael's for that. I mean, then I started doing robberies after that. Because when I started going to juvenile placement with the bad kids, they started telling me about, how to really be bad. Like, so plus my brother was doing all the same stuff. Like my whole neighborhood was doing robberies and shootings, and so that's all I really knew. It was like kind of normal. To be honest with you, at a young age, you don't really don't know that this is so wrong because that's all you really know. That's everybody's doing it. And you gotta remember, this before internet, this before phones. If you don't know where somebody at, you can't find them. Like, if you don't know where your mom at, you can't find her. Like, so like, you really basically out on the streets on your own. Yeah, it was rough.
Well, one of your first robberies, you used a cap gun.
Yeah, it was by mistake. I had a cat gun. My grandma locked me out the house, so I was crying sitting on the steps like she wouldn't let me in, and I had this cap gun in my hand. I was walking down the street, and some older man saw me with the cap gun and thought it was real. I was like, "Wait, son, wait, don't do nothing. Don't." So he had 2 bags of groceries in his hand, and I remember running through the groceries, and I took his ring, and I ended up selling the ring like later on for like I think like $400 or something. And after that, I was hooked on robberies. Like I could. It's so crazy how $400 made my whole world seem different. You know what I mean? Like I felt like everything's okay now. Just $400, I felt like everything was okay. That's how you know you're in poverty for real. You know what I mean? So
How many total robberies do you think you did in terms of actual armed robberies?
probably 40.
40.
Yeah, probably 50, 40, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, robberies is my
Okay.
thing. It was like, you know how some people go to work? What I would do, I just do robberies and then I spend the money because I know I'm gonna do another one. It wasn't like I was doing I mean, that was my job, like for a while. You know what I mean? And I never got caught for and I never got caught for none. But they ended up locking me up for somebody told on me. You know what I mean? You know, everybody talk about people come on Vlad. No, my statute of limitations is over. So you know what I mean? Plus I beat them. But I started doing robberies when I was about young. I stopped doing robberies at 17.
Okay, well, robberies don't always go as planned.
Yeah, but when you broke, you don't care about none of that. You know what I mean? Let me tell you how crazy I was with doing robberies. It was like my job. I had somebody pregnant before, right? They said they needed an abortion. I said, well, how much is it? They said $400. I went right around the corner, robbed the store, and got the $400. Like that was like my job. Like I mean, it was like that's by myself. I used to just do it. You know what I mean? So like that was how I got money for a while. You know what I mean? Like that was basically how I got money. It was fast. You ain't got to be standing on the corner. You know what I mean? So like that's what I used to do. But then I got locked up for it as 16. They charged me as an adult. And the time they was trying to give me, I said, oh my God, I gotta stop doing that. You know what I mean? So that's what ended my robbery career. You know what I mean?
Well, right, because we talked about you actually robbing an old man, but you started robbing sneaker stores.
Sneaker stores, markets, everything. Like, whatever I seen that looked like it was sweet. You know what I mean? I was doing it. It's so crazy because I think back on the time and I'm like, I could have died. I could have did so much stuff not knowing my worth. You know what I mean? Because the stores, some robberies you might get $100. But if you get caught, you're gonna do 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? But you're not even thinking like that. You're just so lost that you don't even understand your worth. You know what I mean?
Okay, so in terms of how much you were getting back then, the minimum was what, $100?
Yeah, minimum probably about $100.
And what was the most you ever got?
Well, as far as just a gun robbery in the store, probably like $5,000. Like nothing super crazy. But I did end up getting a ring one time. I got a ring one time and it ended up being worth like $15,000. You know what I mean? Probably more than that. They told me it was worth $15,000, so it probably was worth way more than that. You know what I mean?
So 16 years old, you finally go to adult prison.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, how is that even legal for a 16-year-old to be around a bunch of adults?
Well, what happens, this what happened, but this is how they did it back then. They'd take you to this place called Youth Study Center, and it's 125 kids. Whoever's the oldest out of the 125 kids, when somebody new come, they go to the house of correction, adult prison. So I was 16, I was older than 125 kids that were certified as adults. They sent me to the house of correction in 1995, and they keep you on a block separated from the adults, right? Mind you, my sister worked there. My dad's daughter worked there. So they keep you separated from the adults. They try to anyway, but I ended up getting stabbed by an adult in my stomach. So I could have sued the jail. They gave me an option. They said, you could either sue the jail or you could get your GED. Because they wasn't letting juveniles take their GED back then. And I said, can I take my GED and let me get out my cell more than, because we was doing 23 hours a day locked in. So I said, can I come out my cell more than 1 hour a day? So I worked out a deal where I can come out my cell at night and clean the block and take my GED. Not knowing I could have sued for money, you know what I mean? But I said, man, I just want to get out this. You know, when you're 16, you got energy. You want to be out that cell as much as possible. So I ended up taking my GED, got the second highest score on the whole state road out of all the inmates that took it. You know what I mean? So like, so I made a plan. When I got out of prison, I was gonna try to change my life. You know what I mean? If I beat the robberies, I had 5 robberies I was fighting. I had a public defender, and I beat all 5 of them, man. It took 13 months, but I beat all 5. It was crazy. I beat all 5 robberies, man. I mean, it was one robbery, right? It was a guy. He said, came on his truck and I shot his dog. Like I'm like, and I remember doing it, right? So when they in the courtroom, the guys on the stand saying, yeah, he did this and he did that. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I did it. Damn, I'm done. Come to find out, I was locked up for something else when that happened. So they said it wasn't me. I'm like, damn, I must did a robbery just like that. Because I swear, you know what I mean? So they ended up throwing that one out. That was like the last one I had. And then I was free. So after 13 months fighting cases, you know, in adult prison, they let me out. And I was like, man, I gotta find something that I can do that's not illegal. You know what I mean? So.
Well, while you're going through all this, you talked about how your mom would actually snitch on you if you didn't give her some of the money.
Yeah, but she did that when I was getting money. Like she started doing. My mom got me locked up a few different times. You know what I mean, so like she got me locked up about 4 times, I think, 3 or 4 times. I mean, just for sometimes we don't argue with nothing. She just like whenever she felt like, I mean, whatever. I mean, that's a hurtful thing, man. I mean, it's a real hurtful thing, especially because everybody gonna believe your mother. Whatever your mom say, they gonna believe her. They're like, especially when you out here doing shit for real. They're like, he did it. You know what I mean, so like it's like hurtful knowing you didn't do it, but you can't. I wouldn't even say I ain't do it because nobody wouldn't believe me. You know what I mean? So like that shit was real hurtful, man. But I mean, but I ended up getting out of house correction when I was 17. I went to try to go to the Army. So you know what I mean? So I ended up signing up for the Army, but I wasn't 18, so I couldn't go. They said I had to wait till I was 18. I passed all the tests, everything. I told my captain, I said, Miss, I got to get money today. Like, I mean, like I can't. She like, well, you got to wait 5 months, something like that. But I end up selling the cops some crack, get locked up. You know what I mean? At 17, so I'm in the police station, and I said, let me just call the captain and tell her I got locked up. I called her. She said, oh my God, you locked up. You said you needed money. Let me see what I can do. Man, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, they call my name. An Army man is outside the police station. They picked me up. The case just went away. They put me in a hotel and gave me $65 a day till I turned 18. And then they sent me to Fort McClellan, Alabama to do my Army for basic training. So the government could do what they want. You know what I mean? The case just went away. Like just never had it just disappeared. Like, you know what I mean? I said, damn. I mean, so, but if I never called her, who knows? You know what I mean? But I called her. Like I just called her and it worked. You know what I mean? So.
Well, right. So then you signed up to the Army for 9 years.
Yes, that's the longest they would let me sign up because of my age. You know what I mean? I never wanted to leave. That's the first place I seen lobster tail. I seen it was something called cream chip beef. I never seen none of that kind of stuff before. Like I'm like, damn, you know, you get to go down the line and pick out what food you wanted. I said, man, then they giving me I think $1,200 a month. I said, man, I'm never leaving this. Like, you know what I mean? So I was gonna stay there forever. You know what I mean? But I ended up coming home and getting shot 9 times. You know what I mean?
Right. So you come home from basic training.
Yeah.
So you were only in the Army for like how long? Like
you did
a year
basic
or something?
training. So what they done? You do basic training. You graduate. You come home and then they like for 10 days. Then they ship you off to where you're gonna be at. So within the 10 days, about to get shipped off, I get, you know what I mean, get shot up. You know what I mean? And this is 1997. Yeah.
So this was during a dice game.
Yeah, right after the dice game. Plus, you know, I was into a lot of stuff. So like, you know, even though you changed, people don't see you as changed. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. So like, I got shot up, and after that I was like, man, I just felt like God just didn't mess with me, man. I just felt like I can't. You mean I'm trying everything to try to get it right, and it just wasn't working. And it's like, you mean I really was ready to give up. You know what I mean? So like it was like, cause I got shot up bad, like I mean real bad, like I'm talking about 5% chance of living out of 100. You know what I mean? So after I woke up, you know, now I'm kind of messed up. My arm, I messed up my stomach. I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna work at, how I'm gonna get money, and I just like kind of panicked and kind of gave up and kind of because I already didn't have help. Army was my way out. You know what I mean? So after I lost that, I was kind of like lost, and I just started writing raps. I mean,
okay, let's talk about this situation for a second. So you're playing a dice game. You're only home for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And you won $7,000.
Yep, won $7,000. Yep, I beat the whole dice game. But so
and
I thought it was a robbery, but it wasn't a robbery. I found out later what it was. I can't really say what it was, but I thought it was a robbery, but it wasn't. Somebody lied and said I did something that I didn't do. So when I seen the guy, I didn't know him. So I walked right to him. Like, about to go in the store, he just started shooting me from the rip. I tried to take the gun, whatever. You know what I mean? But it was like one of them things where though it give you nightmares. You know what I mean? So like, you know, back then they didn't talk about PTSD and none of that stuff back then. It was like, you know what I mean? But it's something that mess with you like forever. You know what I mean? Forever, like, you know what I mean? So, especially at 18 years old. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you got shot 9 times.
Yeah.
But you had 16 holes?
Yeah, because we was close range. It was going in and out. You know, one bullet make 2 holes. If you close, you know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? And this, you know, I think one of them one's still in me. Yeah. But I just put it this way. When I was on the ground, I just knew I was gonna die. I didn't think I was surviving at all. It wasn't one of those things where you feel like, I hope I don't die. It was one of them things like, damn, I'm about to die. Like this, damn, I felt like real salty that I didn't become nothing. I was like, damn, I didn't get to become nothing. I just remember feeling real sad about not becoming nothing. But I never thought I was gonna live because I looked down, I could see the holes in me. I had on all white. And I said, damn, I'm about to die. I'm 18. I didn't get to do nothing yet. Like, and it just felt real dreadful and real sad. But I wasn't scared though for some reason. I just kind of accepted it. And you know what it felt like? It felt like, if say you're driving on the highway for like 2 days and you start getting sleepy, you're trying to fight it, but you can't. That's how you feel, like real sleepy, like you just want to go to sleep. Like you just want to go to sleep. Cause you feel like if you go to sleep, everything gonna be cool. Like just go to sleep. But I had this guy there that kept smacking me. I mean, and I'm like, yo, stop smacking me. Cause I was conscious for like most of the whole time. You know what I mean? And then the ambulance never came. They put me in a paddy wagon. You know what I mean? So like, I see it. You know, I knew it was bad when I seen the lady cop come up and she was crying. You know what I mean? I said, oh my God, yeah, I'm about to die, man. I mean, so.
I just want to talk about this for a sec. So you just won $7,000. You walked off and a guy that you don't know walked up to you and shot you up 9 times.
Yeah, I found out later on in prison what it was about. I thought it was about robbing me for the money, but it wasn't about that. You know what I mean? So like, I just thought it was a robbery the whole time, you know what I mean? And the crazy part, I mean, like, that kind of stuff was normal because somebody got shot the same place I got shot the next day and at the next corner of the street. Like, it was the project in West Philly back then. It was real treacherous. So like getting shot up, I mean, that was like a regular thing. So it wasn't even like a big deal. It wasn't in the newspaper, none of that. It was just like, you know what I mean? Another person got shot. It wasn't, you know what I mean? So it wasn't a big deal. That kind of made me sad too, because to me it was a big deal, but when I seen that it didn't matter, like, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, this shit don't even matter, like, you know what I mean? So.
Well, if it wasn't a robbery, was it a retaliation or something you had done earlier?
Somebody, put it this way, if somebody lied about me doing something to them, like let's say for instance, you grind for somebody and they tell you like, well, he overrobbed me for the money that I had for you. You know what I mean? Something like that, you know what I mean? And I was known for doing stuff like that, so, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It was something like that. It's just street stuff, you know what I mean? But my thing is this, once you become part of the streets, you gotta take everything that come with it. You know what I mean? Because I done did stuff, like, you know what I mean, so as a young person, and like, so like, you gotta take the good with the bad, like, you know what I mean? So I never felt like, I just was mad that it happened to me because I can't go make money. You know what I mean? But I understood the rules of it and you know, what was going on, even though I was young. You know what I mean? So, I mean, plus, I mean, everybody was dying. You know, Philly is a murder town. Like, it's a murder town, man, like, especially now. I mean, but it always been like that. You know what I mean? So like, it was not a big deal. You get shot, you know, ain't nobody really feeling sorry for you. Ain't nobody like making it a big deal. Like, I mean, it's just like another person shot. Like, so you gotta get on with it.
Well, but you're still technically in the Army and you're the victim in a situation like this. Why can't you just go back to the Army once you heal up?
You know what's so crazy? I was shot up too bad to just heal up. Like, I was too damaged for the Army. The Army got high standards as far as health-wise. You can't even have flat feet. You can't, you know what I mean? My elbow got shot off. Like, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, so I couldn't go back to the Army. Plus, I didn't even know. Once I got shot up, my mind went straight to the street stuff. The Army stuff was finished for me. You know what I mean? I was just on some, like, back to the streets. You know what I mean? So, like, back to prisons, back to the same, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like that just pulled me back down to where I had started trying to leave from, you know what I mean? So.
Okay, so here you are recovering from getting shot 9 times, and as you're recovering, you get charged with a murder.
Yeah, yeah. But I was only in jail for a little while for that because the judge saw that I was in the Army and that there wasn't really no evidence against me, and I was in the wheelchair. He just like kind of like threw it out, you know what I mean? So, but I was in jail for like maybe a month. But being in jail when you like in a wheelchair is terrible. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like, so I went from the Army, you know, in the Army you're in shape. You running 5 miles in the morning, you eating good, you in your mind right, to prison in the wheelchair. Like for 18-year-old, it's like, it's a mind fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta have a strong mental. You know what I mean? And I never smoked weed or none of that before. So like, I just was like dealing with it like sober, you know what I mean? And it was like, it was some days I wanted to quit, but I always tell people quit and do what? You mean, you can feel like you want to quit, but you still got to wake up and do something. You know what I mean? So like, I just try to figure out something, man, and I just trying everything. I wish I knew how to paint. I didn't know I could know how to paint. I'd have been painting. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, but one thing about me though, you know, some people only talk to God when they in trouble. I used to talk to God all the time, like, you mean all the time, like that's who I used to talk to, like, about, you mean, but it was good, but I was doing good or doing bad. So I don't know if he heard me sometimes or something. I don't know, because my luck was just so crazy. I had it was like I heard Mike Tyson say something that was real strong to me one day. He said, when the God favor you, the devil favor you too. So like, I mean, like you have real good stuff happen to you, but you gonna have some terrible stuff happen to you as well. So my stuff never in between. It's like always super good, super bad. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean.
All right. So you end up beating that murder case.
Mm-hmm.
You're still healing up from the shooting. And you had a daughter around this time?
Yep. My daughter, when I got shot, my daughter was 6 months old. I mean, so she was like she was a little baby. Yep. She's 27 now. Nurse. You know what she told me today? She said, don't go in there acting. That's what she told me today. She said, don't go in there acting up. So by her, I'm not acting up. I'm being a good dad, see? I mean, so yeah, I had my daughter. I mean, so that was my motivation to try to become something. That was, every time I seen her, I was like, I don't want her to be like, at least have a dad that has something. You know what I mean? Because, my dad, I don't have a dad. So she was my motivation. You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, she's my motivation. Even though I ain't want her at first, I gave the mom the money to get rid of her. Your mom ain't get rid of her. But when she was born, I mean, I fell in love with her.
Oh, so the abortion money that you went robbing
for? So listen, she said, Dad, you didn't want me anyway. I said, listen, it's not that I didn't want you. I didn't know who you was going to be. I didn't want nobody. I was 17. I didn't want nobody. I was scared. Like, I mean, so I'm like, I don't even know how to take care of myself. How am I going to take care of you? But I did a good job. I mean, I did my best anyway. I mean, so, yeah.
Okay.
It was her.
That's kind of a funny story right there. And a dark kind of funny, but still funny. Okay, so now you're actually taking rap seriously, and the jail guys are rapping, but not really in the streets.
Yeah, not really in the streets. I'm talking about, nobody really in the streets even knew I rap. I mean, it was one day, it was a guy named Rick. He got a heavy spitters. He used to do the DVD stuff, whatever. He had a camera, and he was talking about this guy named Spud, my friend who rapped, and I was like, I'm better than him. Like, I was known for doing robberies, so they like, you don't rap, man. I start rapping, they say, oh, you can really rap, like. And I guess hearing people give you a compliment about something that you're doing, especially at a time when, you're going through a lot, it made me like, oh, I like this. And I started like taking it super serious to the point, like I'm talking about that's all I did. I mean, like all I did, like, I mean, and it worked. But I wouldn't even tell nobody, like, I wouldn't even tell a girl I rap back then. Now everybody want to be a rapper. Back then, if you told a girl you rap, she'd look at you like it was crazy, especially in Philly. You rap, bro, you probably get it. I mean, so like I was embarrassed to tell a girl I rap, or anybody like that, because it wasn't the cool thing to be doing. I don't know where I came up with that idea, because it was like a 1 in a million chance for it to work. Like,
okay, so at this time, did you know any of the state property guys?
No, I ain't know none of them. I ended up knowing Sparks like later on, like maybe a couple years later, like maybe a year later. I mean, but I ain't no, I didn't know state property guys. Because guys in state property, we only had a few rappers. We had like, Major Figures was out at the time, Gilly was out. There was only a few rappers, and none of the people in state property wasn't one of them. I mean, so I didn't know them guys at all. So I was just trying to get on. I mean, so. But in my mind, it was gonna work. I guess I willed it to happen, like spoken into existence. I said I was gonna get signed by Jay-Z. That's what I used to tell my friends. That's what I used to say. They'd be like, "Oh man, get out of here, man." That ain't. But I mean, so like, I guess when you don't got no hope, you make hope in your head. You mean?
Well, at one point, you drove 6 hours to go meet Jay-Z
to Boston. Yep, in Boston.
Right?
Boston, yep.
And this is just what? Just you by yourself? Or
No,
you
it was me and my manager
or?
at the time. And
Okay.
when we get there, he walking out the back door, right? Come out the back door. I'm rapping to him while he walking to the van, so maybe like 40 seconds. He get in the car and pull off. So I drove all the way to Boston just for 40 seconds. I mean, that's how hungry I was. I mean, so like, and I was happy, and I didn't feel like it was a waste. I feel like, yes, I rapped. Even though nothing happened, like, and when I asked him later on, when I started knowing him, did he remember? He said, no, I ain't remember. So, you mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, how many people have walked up to you rapping that you just completely forgot about?
But see, kids these days don't know what the hunger that it take back for how it was back then. They got the internet. They could just put their music up, upload it. They could just become. Back then, you had to really hustle hard, like to try to even to get nowhere. You mean? It was so they don't really understand how good they got it these days. You mean?
Okay, so you rap for Jay-Z, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
So then at one point you moved from Philly to New York.
Yeah, out Yonkers. Yeah. This was about in the '98. Yeah.
Right. And initially you wanted to get signed to Rough Riders.
Bad. Yeah, I wanted to get signed to Rough Riders bad. Like, I mean, because I was on tour with DMX when he was with Jay-Z. They had I think Hard Knock Life tour. I think was what it was. And I was on that tour like 3-4 dates with DMX because my man, Hip Dog from Yonkers, that's who I was living with. And that's who took me out there. He was cool with DMX and all of them, Mary J. Blige. So I was on the tour just seeing it. You know what I mean, just seeing it made me want it more. I mean, I'm talking about, I'm at DMX hotel room. This girls lined up outside the door waiting. You know what I mean? Pit bulls running around the hotel. I said, oh my God, like, I mean, he's buying cars in every state, like leaving some of them. Like, I want this life right here. Like, even if I get 10% of this life right here, I mean, so like, I mean, it was a good experience. It made me want it more, like, I mean, so.
Well, yeah, during that tour, I think it was during that tour where rappers who wanted to, you know, rap for Jadakiss, they'd have to battle you first.
Yeah, like if I was with him, yep. So when it's so crazy. I'm living in Yonkers, but we had a thing in Philly called the Greek. So I know Kiss and I think Styles was coming to Philly for the Greek. And I'm like, they like, you want to come with us? Oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go with y'all to back to Philly. We go to Philly. We in a hotel on I think 11th and Vine, and somebody trying to rap for Kiss, but I'm bad on the person. And these two guys just walk up to me like, yo, who are you? Like, I mean, I said, we know Jay-Z. He looking for somebody, looking for people to sign. I'm like, man, whatever. I don't believe him. Yeah, I'm like, man, whatever. They said, no, for real. Tomorrow we could take you up. I said, tomorrow? I really don't believe him now. But they end up, Sadiq ended up being true to their word. And went up there and, you know, Jay-Z walked in there, you know. So like he said, he got 5, you know, Jay-Z like, I got 5 minutes, man. He can tell he didn't really want to hear it. You know what I mean? But he don't know, I was practicing for like 28 months straight. I was actually practicing the rap for him the whole time. Like, that's the crazy part. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, so I wasn't even nervous or nothing. I felt like this was supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And I seen his face start changing. He ended up being there for like 2 hours. And he's like, yo, let me talk to you in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And that was it. And then my life changed. And I guess once you do something major like that, you start feeling like you can do anything. You start feeling like there's no limits to it. I mean, mind you, right before that, I felt like I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it in this life, period, in this world. Then after that, you start getting your confidence and you start willing stuff to happen. And I really believe you can will stuff to happen, no matter what your situation is. I think if you believe it enough and you work at it, I think you can make anything happen. I don't think there's no need to have excuses for nobody. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
So you rap for Jay-Z for like 2 hours. He took you to the bathroom and said he wanted to sign
you. Yeah. Yep. And I said, well, listen, you say you want to sign me, can you just get me a hotel room? He's like, what? I said, listen, I don't want to go back to Philly because I said, you might say you're gonna sign me. I go back to Philly and get killed or something. So I want to stay in New York and get signed before at least before I go back to Philly. Like, he's looking at me like, he don't understand how treacherous Philly was and how my luck was. I said, you know what I mean? So I stayed in New York, and the next day I went to Leo Cohen office. I mean, I didn't even know who he was at the time. I mean, I didn't even know how much I was going to get. I didn't know nothing. I just knew, like, I'm about to be signed. Because nobody was doing it, so I didn't know who to compare it to. I mean, they could have gave me 5,000, 2,000 probably, whatever. I didn't know. I was like, man, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So, like, it was like I never knew it was going to be that big of a thing. Like, but mind you, there was no internet, so nobody knew. So I'm signed, but nobody knew. I mean, I'm going to Philly. I'm telling people, they're like, whatever. Oh, you're not signed. You ain't. You know, they didn't even believe me. So like, I mean, it was crazy. Like, it was how times changed. Because imagine now if you get signed by Jay-Z, you go on the internet, tell people like it's gonna be a big story everywhere. Back then it was like nothing. It was still was regular. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, the deal you signed was for $750,000.
Yeah, it was like a deal. It was like just to make the album and all that stuff like that. But you know,
right?
Vlad, they could have gave me 5,000. I'd have been happy.
Right.
I mean, because I just wanted to get in the game. People don't realize you got to get in the game. I wasn't trying to be rich right yet. Let me just get in the game so I could start trying to make my moves, whatever. But like, I was so happy, man. I couldn't believe it. It was one of them things like you hit the lottery. You know what I mean? It was like you hit the lottery. Then the next thing I know, I'm shooting a movie. It just went crazy so fast. Like, mind you, I got shot in 97. I got signed in 99. So it's like 2 years from laying on the ground about to die to on tour in 2 years. Like, I mean, it was like one of the craziest things ever. Like, I mean,
well, $750,000. It is for the whole project. It includes marketing and everything else like that. But did they cut you a check right after you signed?
You got to cut a check. It was like it was a nice check. More money than I think I ever had in my life at that time. Like, I mean, plus you back then, all your managers was drug dealers. I mean, that just had a bunch of money, so you didn't have to buy nothing. I mean, everything you want this card? Go ahead. You want this? man, your life changed instantly. As soon as you sign that deal, your life changed instantly. You know what I mean? Of course, now rap money is bigger than it was back then. You know what I mean? But still, it's bigger than anywhere I could have worked at, anything I could have been doing besides that. You know what I mean? So like, plus it was so much. I had just turned 21. I got signed. My birthday, August 2nd, I got signed August the 21st. So I just turned 21.
Well, didn't you say that Jadakiss was trying to talk you out of signing to
Yeah,
Jay-Z?
yeah, because he wanted me to come, you know what I mean, be with him. But he was still in that thing with Puff Daddy, trying to get out the Puff Daddy deal type thing. You know what I mean? I wanted to be with Rough Riders bad. I used to go to Rough Riders studio every morning. I used to walk down there every morning, be in the studio like I was signed to Rough Riders. When they had their little floats in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, I'm on a float with the Rough Rider. I was a fake Rough Rider, like, you know what I mean? I wanted to be Rough Rider, like, you know what I mean? So I was just trying, and DNY used to see me come down there, like, I just come down there every day. Every day. I mean, I'm talking about not some days, that's all I did. Because for me, it was like, if this don't work, I don't know how I'm gonna survive. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't want to go back to just doing the same thing I used to do before, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you sign your deal, and then right afterwards, you start filming the State Property movie.
Yeah, right away.
And is that when you met the other State Property guys?
Well, you know, when I got signed, all the property wasn't there yet. Only Beans was there.
Huh.
So I got signed before Freeway, before Chris and Neef. They wasn't there yet. They came a little bit after I was there. So when I got signed, because you know when we first got signed, it was in '99. We started shooting the movie. Chris and Neef came because they was trying to pick between Chris and Neef and I think a group called Most Wanted. And then Freeway used to hang with Beans, so that's how Freeway came along. Peedi Crakk used to hang with me. That's how Peedi Crakk came along. You know what I mean? So like, and we just all be together, and then you know, we just end up being. We went to Hot 97. After we did Hot 97, they said, "Yo, y'all should be together." You know what I mean? We went on tour off the Hot 97 freestyles. I'm talking about 14 cities, and every city knew every song, but they just didn't know how we looked. There wasn't no internet. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're signed to Jay-Z, you film a movie, your life has changed, but then in 2000, you get locked up for murder.
Right? That's what I said. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I'm talking about, so they kicked my mom door in looking for me for a murder. I called a lawyer. I said, are they saying I did it? Or are they saying that they want to question me about it? They said, no, you did it. You need to get out of town or go turn yourself in. I said, I'm not turning myself in. Because, I mean, so I didn't know who it was or nothing. I just ran. I went to Atlanta. Was down there for 6 months. I'm watching State Property on Saturday Night Live. I'm watching them. I mean, I said, and I'm on the run, just sitting in this house in Atlanta, just stressed out. Like, God, again, like, come on, I thought I made it through. So they ended up finding me in Atlanta. I mean, when they locked me up, they flew me on a plane from Atlanta, a regular plane with regular passengers, shackled up to Philly. I mean, whole time they asked me, why did I do it? They interrogate me on the plane in front of people. So regular people sitting in front of us. I'm at the window seat and there's two cops, like two detectives right here, like, just tell us what happened. The whole ride to Philly. So we get to Philly, to the police station. They show me who died. And that's when I realized I don't even know this guy. Now I'm like, I was running I don't even know him. Like, you know what I mean? You know, so they beat me up, whatever, you know what I mean? I was in prison. And it took 20 years for me to figure out what happened. I never knew why they said I did it until about 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So nothing's like being in prison for a murder if you didn't do it. They're trying to give you the death penalty. You know what I mean? Because they said I shot him, and they said I killed him, and I shot his cousin. So they gave me a murder, attempted murder, and all kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So like, I was back in some godforsaken situation again. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I said, your mental got to be strong when you're going through things like that, because you keep saying, why me? Why me? And it looked like you're doing all these crazy things, but like you're really 100% innocent. Not 50% innocent. I'm talking about I don't know these guys at all. I never saw them before. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So the one guy that lived, he came to court. Mind you, it took like a year to go to court, just go to preliminary hearing. I'm in jail. I mean, so when we get to court, finally get in the courtroom, I see the boy. I'm like, yo, I don't even know you, bro. Like, why you saying like, why? And he was like, he's too tall. I don't think that's him. Mind you, I've been sitting in prison. You know what I mean? So they didn't find me not guilty. They said, well, until we find more evidence, we're gonna let you go. But if we find any more evidence, we're gonna come back and get you. So that's even to now. You know what I mean? So the guy that got shot, that seen who did it, I kept calling him, trying to get in touch with him. He never would talk to me until about 5 years ago. That's when I found out like what happened. I said, what? My manager set me up. You know what I mean? Jimmy the Saint. Yeah. So what happened was he got caught with a brick in his crib. So mind you, got caught with a brick in his crib, and he just started getting people locked up. And mind you, I was his main young boy. I used to hustle for him. I don't know. He just like picked me. I mean, I don't know. I think it was over this girl he liked, whatever. But he picked me. He went to the boy house and said, "Yo, I know who shot you." And the boy like, "How you know who shot me?" He showed him a DVD with me on it. The boy like, "I don't know if that's him or not." Like I'm telling you, he did it. He convinced him that I did it. Then he brought the cops to his house. Brought the cops to his house, and the cops, took his statement, whatever. I mean, so that way Jimmy the Saint never had to get on the stand because he got the boy to say it. You know what I mean? So the guy, he lived upstairs from me. So he must have heard their situation and just threw me under the bus. I mean, and that case right there ruined my life, kind of like. I mean, made me a convicted felon. Like it did a lot. Because after I got out the case for that murder, some guy said I tried to blackmail me for $10,000 like 2 years later, and I lost the case. I mean, but it was similar to the murder. So the cops from the murder came to the courtroom for the robbery and was like, "It's the same thing happened in the murder, Your Honor. The guy said he did do it, then he said he didn't do it. Either he's paying these people off or he's threatening them." The judge found me guilty, revoked my bail. I mean, the guy said I robbed him at our show, state property show. He said I robbed him for $60 and I lost. Man, I just couldn't believe it, man. Like I was like, yo, this shit is Delaney Foxworth. That's the guy's name. You know what I mean? So it's like, but without that murder case, they would have never even. I mean, the robbery wouldn't nowhere because it's like the guy said I didn't do it at the trial. Like he didn't do it because he kept trying to say, "Yo, give me $10,000. I won't say you robbed me." I'm like, what? If I knew now what I know now, I would have just gave him $10,000. you know what I mean? Because once you're a convicted felon, you can't live certain places, you can't work certain places, you lose a lot of rights. And I was 23 years old.
So with that murder, your own manager set you up.
Yep.
To get out of a brick of cocaine.
Yeah. Yep.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. Yep. But
have you ever confronted him with this?
Yeah. So I just found out this about 4 years ago. I never knew. So what I found out, I was going through this thing where I was trying to be a positive person, like, trying to get, because I can't, I got that karma, man, I be trying to, so like, I didn't even know how I was going to tell him, but he kept calling me because he didn't know I knew. So one day he called me and I just snapped, like, "I know what you did." I mean, he had a heart attack or whatever. But he tried to deny it, whatever. But he told him more than just me. He told him a few people. He told him like a few people. I mean, but I couldn't believe it was him that he would do that to me. I mean, because he tried to get me killed. Like, I mean. So like, that was when I found that out, like, at the point I am in this life right now, I thank God for stuff that I can't take a risk by doing nothing to him or nothing like that because I got too much to lose. You know what I mean? God gave me a lot of chances, a lot. I got it. So I don't try to do nothing. I mean, of course, when somebody do that to you, you want to do something to them. But when you get older and you start knowing better, you start letting karma and God, whatever, handle some things for you. Like, because like I got a granddaughter now. Like I got stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like, I can't be thinking how I did when I was 20-something. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, that whole situation ultimately pans out. The whole murder situation because
it pans out, but it kind of don't because that made the cops on me. Like I'm talking about a personal vendetta, like talking about to the point that it's like terrible. I mean, even to now. I'm talking about terrible. Like, they feel like I got away with so much stuff. They feel like they never look at it like you didn't do it. Never. You did it. You got away with it. So like I can't. I just did 3 to 6 years for some weed, a little bit of weed. You know what I mean? Like, so that means, so like, not only that, I'm a convicted felon for nothing. You know what I mean? But let me tell you the crazy part. The judge that sent me to jail for the robbery I didn't do, I'm in prison, about to come home for this weed case. I see he died in a fire. His wife got out, but he didn't. I just see his face big on like I said, that's crazy. I don't really wish death on nobody, but when you take somebody's life like that just because you can, God, I don't know why people think they're above God. Like, and I'm not a super religious boy, like, but I know it's something made humans and they be watching, I feel like they watching everything. So if you do certain things, how can a man that's 75 years old don't get out, but his wife that's 80 get out the house? You know what I mean? How you get stuck in the house and die from fire? So you had hell on earth. Because he took my whole, he convicted me. And this how they get you. They convict you of an armed robbery, minimum 5 to 10 years, right? They come to you and say, listen, if you say you did it, we take the gun off and make it a regular robbery and give you immediate work release. So now you either gonna go upstate for 5 years and try to get a pill, or you can go home in a few months or while you on work release. First I said no. I said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying I did something I ain't do. But then, I'm a state property popping. I see him on TV. I said, man, all right, come on. I had to go in the courtroom and apologize for robbing somebody that I'd never, the hardest thing I ever did in my life, bro. But I was like, man, I'm 23. We popping. We got movies out. Like I said, man, I gotta get out of jail. So like that ruined everything. Because once you do that, you can't take it back. It's like I mean, so.
Well, around this time, Roc-a-Fella is beefing with various entities.
Yeah.
There was the whole state property locks, Rough Riders beef. This is the crew that you were cool with before, but now you're on this side of the fence.
But see, the way I looked at Jadakiss and how I respect Jadakiss, right? I never could see a rap against him. I look at him past music, like, I mean, I look at him like I got a lot of respect for him. Before I even knew Beans or my squad, no. So I couldn't fix my right of rap about him, period. I didn't say nothing about the locks, period. I mean, I just couldn't do it. I mean, now I might help people write some songs against him, but I'm not, I mean, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't see me up on a bed. I remember knocking on his door, him throwing $100 out the window to me when I had no money. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, man, I can't see nothing about it. Like, it was almost like seeing your two cousins fighting. Like, but I mean, you just hope they just stop soon. Like, I just hope it just be over soon. I mean, so like that was like rough for me. But if you ever listen to the Hot 97s, I never say nothing about them, period. I mean, so like that's how that went. Yeah.
Well, but Jay-Z was also beefing with Nas at the time.
Yeah. So I ain't know Nas, so I don't know you, bro. So like, I mean, when he told us to come at Nas, I come at Nas, I don't know him. You know what I mean? I didn't know him at all. But I just didn't like the way he tell us to diss Nas, then he get back cool with Nas, but don't get us cool with Nas, right? It's like, we don't know Nas. You dissed him because you asked us to diss him, because he was on your ass, you know what I mean? So we dissing Nas. Mind you, I don't know Nas. We ain't know Nas at all. Like, of course I know he rapper, but I'm saying I never met him, never saw him. He tell us to diss Nas, then you get back cool with him. That's like me telling my friends, yeah, go shoot up Vlad house, right? They go shoot your house up, then I get back cool with you, but they shot your house up. So you still don't, me and you cool now, but I never fixed it with them, and I'm the one told them to shoot your house up. So like, so you still beefing with them. I mean, so like I said, bro, like, I mean, why I didn't understand that part. Like, but I started understanding that, people in the industry move different from people in the streets. Like, streets got different rules than business and industry. So, I mean,
Well, yeah, at the time, you said that you were so loyal to Jay-Z, you would have shot Nas if you would have asked him.
I would have. I mean, you gotta remember, it was a time when Jay-Z was like the rap Michael Jackson. Like, I'm talking about, like, Biggie died. It wasn't even no competition close. I mean, till DMX came out, I mean, it was like Jay-Z, that's it. Like, it was like, that was it. You know what I mean? So like, that was like, mind you gotta remember, you live in a ghetto where as though nobody has millions. You never seen nobody that's black, that's young with millions. I mean, I didn't at the time. I never seen nobody with millions of dollars, like, living a certain type of way that you can't believe even exists. I mean, and they mess with you. So you're like, man, mind you, you'd be loyal to a guy that just got a street corner that you'll kill for. Of course you'll kill for somebody that's a millionaire that can pay for your lawyer. You know what I mean? So like, I was thinking so street back then that I didn't even know nothing else. I just knew street stuff. You know what I mean? So like, and I thought Jay-Z was a street guy, but like, he like used to be a street guy. I mean, he's transitioned to something else. Like, so I didn't know. I mean, the way he think, my mind wasn't there to think of the stuff he think about yet. Probably still not. You know what I mean?
I mean, was Jay-Z helping you with your legal bills during this time?
No, but Dame Dash was. But they let me spend the money off my budget to fight the cases. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
But Dame was hands on with like my whole everything. I mean, he on the stand for me and everything. Like, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, my this when Dame was popping. This back when he popped. You know what I mean? So even the sheriffs was going crazy. Like, you see Dame that, like, so Dame. Dame helped me out a lot, man. He always was there, even to the day. You know what I mean?
Well, you're at Roc-a-Fella, and Roc-a-Fella's starting to expand as well. Like you mentioned, the other state property guys are being brought in. Kanye comes in, and Dipset comes in. And this is mostly through Dame Dash, in terms of like Kanye and Dipset and so forth.
For sure, do Dame Dash. Without Dame Dash, it wouldn't have happened.
Right. From your point of view, I remember interviewing Joel Santana about this. He said that Cameron and Jay-Z always had kind of a funny relationship with each other. Like, they were kind of put together, but they never really liked each other. Did you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jay and Cam never really, I'm not gonna say got along, because it's like a weird word, like never got along. Like, we not like kids, like, you know what I'm saying? But they had like a funny relationship, you know what I mean? With them being, they never really clicked and meshed to where it was like, it felt like we were truly Roc-a-Fella artists, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Dame always showed us that love and that, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, like, you know, we were cool, stay property. We just never felt like we were like truly welcome over there. Like, we felt like the outcast of the family. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's, see, Jay-Z could do certain stuff with us from State Property because being from Philly, we're not really business minded. We just rapped. I think people from New York are business minded automatically. So I think he's seen Cam as a rival. I mean, as far as business wise, as far as rapping wise, as far as somebody that could take his spot potentially. You know what I mean? So I think he was like looking at him like, why would you bring him over here? He could probably, I mean, because Cam was like that guy. He was popping at the time, real heavy. I mean, and then he didn't care about Jay-Z. Like, he ain't had no problem dissing him. I mean, nothing like that. So I think, you know, Jay-Z looked at him as a rival, and Jay-Z don't like competition at all. Like, I mean, period. I mean, period. If you notice every song that he like, you might hear a Jay-Z like say Freeway song, What We Do Is Wrong, right? You would think that Jay-Z song, he let Freeway get on it, right? No, it's Freeway song, he get on your song, right? And it look like he's doing you a favor by like, but no, he would never let you get on his songs, ever. But he's still your songs, and let me put it out. I mean, he might let you get on it, he might not. I mean, but he'd never help you. I mean, he help you get on, that's it. And I think, when I look back on it, I really feel like he did that just to get raps from us, because we was hungry. Because we used to do it, every time he saw us, he'd make us say raps for him. Like, yo, every time I see you, better have some new shit. And, you know, we was young, we was hyped to do it. Like, I think Sony Studios, or whatever studio we used to be at the time, had like a car you could sit in. It's like a fake car, and put the CD in, and you could rap to him like you sitting in the car. And I used to be hyped to do it every time. You start seeing hearing a little bit of stuff here and there, and they're like, mind you, of course he hot without taking your stuff. I'm not saying he gotta need your stuff, but he will take your stuff. If you ever hear the group Non-Brigade from Philly?
Yeah.
He took their song, All I Need, same beat, same everything, you know what I mean? So I heard Funk Master Flex one day on the radio, like, what would Jay-Z have to steal somebody's songs for? Like, I can't believe he said that. He is a good rapper, but he don't have to steal it, but he will. You know what I mean? And he might, if it's your song, he might let you get a verse on it. He might not. You know what I mean? So like, wasn't helping us. If you look at the State Property CDs, he not on those songs. He might be on this. You hear him on the song, it's because it's one of our songs he liked. He get on it, but he's not gonna say, oh, come get on this, or only like maybe like Bleak or something like that, but not the Philly boys. He ain't really bang with us like that. And I saw that early. You know what I mean? I started seeing that early, and I started like, I mean, understanding what it was. Like, I mean, we wasn't there like for like, because they sold it like was family and all that. You know what I mean? You telling a guy that don't have family, like we family, you thinking something, I mean, all the way different, and then you start realizing that it's not that, and you young, so you start feeling slighted about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember I interviewed Peedi Crakk. He said that he played him a song with a Cameron verse on it, and like Beanie grabbed the CD and broke it in half. Because there was just like this kind of, people were starting to choose sides. Like people were on the Dipset side, people were on the Jay-Z side.
Yo, I played the shit on the airplane. That's when we had little Discmans and shit. Mm-hmm. I played the whole way to Cali, and I get there, and the whole State P is already there. You know what I'm saying? So I go up to their room and shit. They all in one room playing a game, smoking and shit. I'm still excited again. I pull the CD out. I'm like, hey, Beans, look, this is joint I did, man. Check this shit out. I threw the CD in the deck, and I pressed play, and the same shit. When it got up to Cameron part, this nigga Mac stand up and walk over to the CD player, kindly ejected that shit and broke it in half and threw it in the trash. Like, yo, get the shit out of here. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Beanie Siegel.
Yeah, man.
Grabbed the CD with Cameron on the verse.
I don't know why.
Broke it in half.
Cracked it in half and threw it in the trash. Like, get the shit out of here.
What would have changed all of that stuff if the internet was out? If the internet was out, it would have changed everything, because everybody would have seen exactly step by step what was going on. And the internet make nothing anonymous. You can't be anonymous now. Everything is going to be exposed. Everything is going to be, but back then it was like, it was like a competition thing. Because if you're not on the radio or on TV, you're not getting heard. Period. So like, but at the same time, people talk about the bad. The good was so good that it was like, the good outweighed the bad by a lot. You know what I mean? But yeah, but Jay-Z was like real. I started noticing that he was like real, like, he don't really want to see you do good. Like, I mean, it sound crazy and it sound like, because same time somebody says something about Jay-Z, oh, you're hating. No, like, this is just the real life, real life thing. Like, he'll take your song and won't give you nothing. Like, he won't act like he don't even know that it was just like, your shit. Like, somebody he can give you 1% of it and your life change. Like that song, you gotta give it to me with Sparks on the hook. Sparks gets no percentage of it at all. That was a single. That's a video he did. You know what I mean? So like, my thing is that why would you already a billionaire, why wouldn't you let somebody get a percentage of the song just to change their life? I mean, that made the song up, that you wouldn't even did the song without, you know what I mean? So like, when I start seeing stuff like that, I remember one time Sparks had a song with Jay-Z on the hook. He wouldn't clear it, but he cleared Cassidy's song for Swiss Beats. And I said, what the fuck? So I started, you know, I'm the type boy, like, you show me once, I understand. You don't got to keep showing me. I know what it is. Even though, you know, he saved my life and everything, I respect that part, but like at the same time, there's certain things, if you got a young boy, that you're supposed to treat him a certain type of way. Especially once you already made it, you already going. But it wasn't like that. Because without us, with that Nas stuff, he might not be who he is right now. Because Nas, that Ether came out, and it was like, you know, a lot of people was on Nas' side at the time. I mean, and then they brought us in there, and it was like, oh, they can't, Nas can't go against all of them. I mean, it was like too many of us. But like, so I said, why is Beanie Siegel not at that brunch? You know what I mean? I don't go to brunches, so like, I mean, you'll never see me at a brunch. I just started hearing about brunch when they started making brunches. I never knew what brunch was, but Beanie's supposed to be at that brunch. So everybody got these Roc-a-Fella chains and all that. Beanie Siegel supposed to be at that brunch, if he want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but the State Property movie and the soundtrack does come out.
Yeah, it come out. Mm-hmm.
And you're all over the soundtrack. You're on a bunch of songs.
I have no problems with that, but at the same time, every time we put our CD out, he put a CD out, right? Like at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about, you gotta remember, like at this time, 50 Cent came out with G-Unit, right? He on every song with them. You know what I mean? You see how he did the song with The Game, that Hated or Love It and all. Soon as 50 Cent on it, he popping. Jay-Z would have did that with us, it'd have been over. It would have been over, but like, I mean, but instead he take your song and then might not put you on it, or take your idea. You know what I mean? So it's like, you start, first you like it, you be flattered, then you start being like damn, like bro, like you gotta get a little bit of love, like, you know what I mean? So like, mind you, I got signed by him, so like, I mean, I'm thinking like, but no, I wasn't like that, you know what I mean, at all, like, period, like, you know what I mean? And then if you say Jay-Z did anything, take a verse or line, because mind you, everybody know he's like one of the best rappers ever, so they be like, he ain't take nothing from you. Who are you? You're not nobody. You know what I mean? But all you gotta do is go to Google, or all y'all people out there watching, go to YouTube, type in All I Need by Non-Brigade, and you'll hear the song that Jay-Z took from them. Mind you, they wasn't famous. Only thing was they had their business right, so they got paid. You know what I mean? But like, in rap, people in rap don't take somebody else's song and do it over. That's not a normal thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, I would never listen to somebody's song and like, let me take this song and do it over. And, I mean, and take their hook and they so like, just doing it alone to me is like, strange.
Well, State Property 2 album comes out, and the movie as well. You're on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roc-a-Fella breaks up.
Yeah.
From your point of view, why do you think that happened?
I think Jay-Z wanted to be by himself and they wanted to be with like Damon Biggs at the time. I mean, I just think, that's what I think. I just feel like he wanted to be by himself. He can probably make more money by himself. He really didn't need him no more. In fact, he probably was just carrying them. Like, he probably felt like, I'm the rapper, I'm a businessman now too, so I don't even need a manager and none of that stuff no more. I mean, I got my lawyer right here, like, and just dished him. You know what I mean? I just think he just dished him. Like, I mean, because for me, it was like, damn, y'all was like people for like, especially for black people to look up to, young people in the streets to look up to. When they broke up, it was like devastating. For like, I mean, I'm talking about for people everywhere, like far as, I mean, because there's people that made it from the hood all the way to the top. And they just break up like that was like crazy. You know what I mean? Real crazy.
Well, yeah, they split up, and the artists kind of have a choice where to go to. They could go with Jay-Z, or they could go to Dame Dash's Dame Dash Music Group.
Yeah.
Most people went with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I would have never went over there because I just knew. See, I'm a person from the streets. I've been raised in the streets. I get a sixth sense off somebody. You don't gotta tell me. I could just see how you move, to tell how you feel about things. You know what I mean? So I would never went over there because I know he would. I seen Peedi Crakk asking for a car one day, right? So Peedi Crakk come in there, he like, yo, Jay, man, I don't need nothing crazy. Like, I mean, like, I just need any kind of car, just anything so I can get around. Jay-Z listening to him, like, you finished? No. He's like just like that. Like, and when he said it to him, I felt so bad for Peedi. I'm like, damn, like, he just said no like that. Then I ended up giving Peedi a car. I mean, at the time, like, I mean, like, I said, Peedi, I got a car for you, man. Like, because I'm like, mind you, so let me tell you the kicker about that. So after he did that to Peedi, right? I think we was in the 40-40 club. The cops come in there and was like, yo, Somebody had one of his cars, I think a 500 Benz, doing a spree of robberies in Jersey. He didn't even know was missing. Like, you know what I mean? I said, you got a 500, 600 Benz missing that you don't even know missing, but you told Peedi he can't get a squatter. I mean, and it wasn't even what it came out of his pocket. He just took it out of the budget, whatever. And when I seen stuff like that, it made me like, I don't understand that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, damn. And then it's different if he said, well, I can't do that right now, Peedi. He's like, no. Like a hard, I'm talking about one of them hard no's, like he couldn't wait to say no. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was waiting all his life to tell him no. You know what I mean? So I just don't know nobody that'll treat their artists like that. You know what I mean?
Well, but to be fair, like, this is one of the owners of the label. It's not your parent.
No.
You see what I'm saying? He gave all you guys opportunity, and ultimately, it's up to you guys to run with that opportunity. You see what I'm saying? It's not up to him to continuously.
No, that's not continuously.
More and more.
So if you had an artist
that
had a budget, you wouldn't let him get a car. Like if he needed a car, like I mean, see, my thing is this. You see, I'm from the streets.
Well, but they let you use your budget for your legal bills.
No, I see. This
right?
is the thing. You gotta understand this. I never said I needed money from him. I never. See, people could get this confused. I gave Peedi a car. I was cool. I never asked for nothing. I mean, period. My thing was just about loyalty. My thing was about like, well, if I worked for this and I did this, shouldn't I get paid for it? You know what I mean? Like I would never go. I mean, I was rolling. I was doing good. Like, you know what I mean? So, but what I'm saying is this: if I got an artist, especially Peedi Crakk is real, like he's a star. You know what I mean? I got a 600 Benz missing. They just made me president of Def Jam. I could work a car out for you. Because mind you stealing all our music anyway. We don't get Universal taking all the music. I mean, we don't get. I can't even put "Been Down Too Long," one of my songs from Roc-a-Fella on Instagram. As soon as I put it up, like you don't own rights to this. You know what I mean? So my thing is this: if you saying we a family and your young boy not driving, that make you look bad. I don't want to be a $100 million guy. My guy's walking and get on the bus. You know what I mean? Especially when I know if I didn't think he was worth it, I wouldn't have signed him. You know what I'm saying? So that's just why I said I didn't understand it. People always think of like, well, Jay-Z don't got to do this. No, he don't got to do nothing. But when it's not even coming out your pockets and it's something small, if I could give him a car, how you can't give him a car? That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? So like those things like that. And mind you, I never said nothing about me. They always think I'm complaining for me. I don't complain for me. I was cool. But he did what he had to do for me. I made it work. I mean, he didn't do what he do. You know what I mean? So not that, just a simple fact that if somebody's taking your stuff or using your stuff, why you can't just give them 5% of it or 3, I mean, anything, I mean, something like that. And why you act like you care about, my thing is that Jay-Z could have said, yo, I don't fuck with y'all, I'm signing y'all for a text write-off. He could have said anything. We wouldn't have gave a fuck. I mean, but when you say we family and this, that, and the third, it's like, I mean, you leading, and we young guys, that right now wouldn't care. When you're 21, I mean, from the streets, raised already dysfunctional, you looking at a person like, I mean, like they your family, and then you find out that ain't what it is, you be kind of heartbroken about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Roc-a-Fella breaks up.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z becomes president of Def Jam.
Yeah.
They give him his whole catalog back, except for Reasonable Doubt, which was done before they joined Def Jam. A lot of people go with Jay-Z. State Property breaks up.
We broke up, but we still was doing shows together.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, I brought this up. I guess it didn't really break up, but you guys just stopped doing stuff together.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, for me, you understand, like I told you how I was living, doing robberies and all that. Once I got signed, I started doing other things with my money, like illegal stuff. But I mean, so I was like, cool. I mean, I was like, because I was refusing to go back. Like, I mean, so what I was doing was more, I should have been more focused on music, but I was more focused on not going back to the bottom. I mean, so like I was doing some other things, but I was cool. I mean, all I needed was that little boost, that little push. And I mean, that was it. I mean, so like I had no complaints about that. My complaints was about, I thought we was family. I thought, I mean, you want to see your young boys eat. That was my whole thing. You know what I mean?
Well, but after Roc-a-Fella breaks up and State Property stops working together, you go back to the street.
I was in the streets the whole time, really, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, because that's all I knew. And you know, and my thing, I tell people this all the time. The only thing worse than being poor your whole life is being poor, get some money, then go back to being poor again. You know what I mean? Like, so that was my fear, especially in your 20s when you got to show off and with Roc-a-Fella, you got to show off. Like, I mean, because Jay-Z saying your name on songs, you can't be getting on the bus. Like, you know how that's going to look like? I mean, it looks crazy. Like, I mean, so like, keeping up the appearances, you know, when you're older, you don't got to worry about those things. But when you're young, I mean, you care about all the wrong things. And like, you know, like, man, I got to look like this. I got to be like this. Even though they're not helping me, I got to. So, I mean, but I figured it out. I mean, you know, I told you I came from the bottom, so that little push they gave me, that's all I needed. I mean, so.
Well, so you were in the streets the whole time,
Yeah.
but then your house gets robbed.
Yeah, my house got robbed twice, yeah.
Okay.
How
And then
about
at that point, you kind of put the street stuff
Yeah, I said,
aside?
yeah. And it's so, you know, I'm not gonna even say I put the streets to the side. I stopped selling coke and started selling weed. I said, yo, weed give me less time, you mean? It's so hard when you from the streets, it's so hard to just leave it. Like, you mean? If like every time you leave it and somebody call you for something, like, that's money you missed. Like, that's money I missed, you mean? But, you know, it take you to get older and start understanding what life is really about, you mean? Because I thought rich was money, but now I realize rich is, if you wake up happy, you rich. You can have all the money in the world, you wake up, you're not happy, you're not rich. You wake up happy, you're rich, even if you don't have no money. You mean, so.
Right around 2006, that's when you first met Meek Mill?
Yeah, about 2006, yep, met Meek Mill, yep. He was a kid trying to rap in Philly, you know what I mean? And I believe, and it was my guy, it's like my little brother at the time, like, I mean, I had a lot of love for him, you know what I mean? So that was like my guy. Before anybody knew him, and A.R. Ab. I got a song with Meek and A.R. Ab from 2007. Nobody didn't know neither one of them, you know what I mean? I was like A&R to the streets because I like rap music. I like rap music so much. I used to listen to the guys that wasn't nobody all the time, see who was hot, and you know what I mean, and mess with them and all that. And Meek Mill was my favorite one out of everybody. No, him and Joey Jihad. You know what I mean?
Well, right. Didn't you meet Meek Mill when he was battling Joey Jihad?
Yeah, I was with Joey Jihad. I met Joey Jihad about a few weeks before that, and the Meek Mills pulled up, and they was battling outside for like hours and hours and hours. This was like 2006. Yeah. I mean, and after that, Meek Mill started being with me a lot. I mean, we got like, he probably got more songs with me than he got with anybody. You know what I mean? That's my guy. I mean, but you know, we don't see eye to eye right now. But my thing is this: people think I hate Meek Mills, and it's not like that. It's like some of the stuff he do I don't like, and it's just that it's public, so like it look crazier than it is. But it's not like no real life thing. I mean, because I'm proud of the stuff he done. He came from the bottom. I mean, and every time they count him out, he always find a way to stay relevant. Like he resilient. But you know, Philly a hard town. When you do one little nutty thing, they're not gonna let you live it down for years. You know what I mean? But I mean, I just think what his problem is that he don't have nobody around him that keep it real with him. That's it. You know what I mean? But it ain't no thing where it's like hate Meek Mill type thing like everybody think it is. It ain't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you talked about this. The whole matching outfits with Diddy.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did. You know, if he had a real friend around him, he'd be like, "Hey, Meek." Nah.
Vlad, if me and you was somewhere and I just about to get interviewed with you, right? And we got the same shirt on. I'm like, yo, one of us gotta take this joint.
Yeah, we gotta take this shirt off. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What I think happened, I think Meek was kind of starstruck probably a little bit because that's still Puff Daddy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's just like, man, ain't nothing wrong with this. But after the stuff, all this allegations start happening, that make that picture look crazy. Because I would bet $1 million that Meek not gay. I can't see him being gay. Like, I mean,
yeah, I don't think so either.
That's just like they just trolling him. But Meek's problem is he feed into everything.
Right.
I mean, like he got to
argue
everything
with everyone. Like,
you mean?
Yeah.
But like, no, like if something, like say something, God forbid, something was to happen to Meek, I would be devastated. Like if something happened to him for real. Rap stuff to me is fake. It's a rap world and it's a real life world. You know what I mean? I could diss Meek all day in the rap world. You know what I mean? I don't get it. It's not real to me. When you've been through real shit, been shot up and been in prison for all that, that shit is not real. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes Meek not really a street guy, so he don't know that the difference. He just like, he just like feel like he got to defend himself all the time. When you won the game, you don't have to respond to everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you said that when you met Meek and Joey, you thought that Joey was way better than Meek would ever get to that level. Yeah. But you fast forward, 18 years.
No, but Meek started getting better fast. Like he started getting good fast. With Meek, the difference between Joey and Meek was Meek knew how to make a good hook. Hook is the song. He make hook effortless, like he just do it like easy, like every time. I mean, so like, he was dedicated to the studio. Like you ain't had the time to go to the studio. He was in there every day. Like that's what he did. I mean, and one thing about him, he'd write a song and know it like he had it for years. Never seen nobody. I mean, so like he was made to be a rapper for sure. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think you mentioned that Joey's doing DoorDash now.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with DoorDash.
Not there's anything wrong with it, but it just shows how different your lives could happen. You can be right next to somebody who ends up being a multimillionaire, internationally known, and one conversation, one decision could ultimately not lead you in that same direction.
But guess what? The person that's doing DoorDash could be happier than the person that's a millionaire.
This is true.
Because you know, with money comes problems.
Yeah, but I'd rather have money problems than no money problems.
But you know, so you gotta understand where you live at too. Like then you gotta understand you're white, Vlad. That's just being honest. Black money problems is different from white money problems.
I think having money,
Let me
just say this. Regardless of who you are, when you go through shit, and we all go through shit, we're all gonna go through health situations, family situations, heartbreak, loss, and everything else like that. But when you have a financial padding, it's not as bad as when a bad situation potentially puts you homeless. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Having $1 million put aside, it pads your problems a little bit. It's like having, like a pillow, as opposed to falling down on a metal bed, you fall down on a feathery bed. You know what I'm saying? But you're still falling, but you'd rather have the feathery bed.
But see, when you black and you're a millionaire and all your friends is not, right? Everybody you know is not, it could be dangerous. I mean, it could be real. It could be real. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna say it can be. It is dangerous. Like, so you got to move a certain way. Not saying it's still money. Having money is still better than no money. Not having money. I agree with you on that. But I'm just saying. Yeah. Like I said, if Joey happy doing DoorDash, I don't know if he is. I don't even know if he do DoorDash or not. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, my thing is, if you happy doing it, more power to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody can't take the spotlight. You know what I mean? Everybody can't take being famous. Being famous is that. I mean, especially when you're famous like how Meek is famous, like that's like a lot of eyes on you. Like, everything you do is a big deal. People, got something to say about everything you do. So everybody can't take that. You know what I mean?
Well, around the time you met Meek, you also met Arab.
Yeah, yep. I actually was looking for Arab. Yep.
Yeah, this one hit close. This hit close to me in terms of what happened to him, because me and him were actually real cool with each other. I remember, years and years ago, Swizz Beatz calls me up out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, listen, I just signed this artist named Arab. Could you get him on your show? He's really dope." I checked out some of his music and I'm like, oh shit, he is dope. Like he's really actually a dope rapper, like point blank period. So we started doing interviews with him. We developed a relationship. And man, when he got those 45 years, I couldn't believe it.
You know why he got the 45 years? Because he got a power. People follow him. It wasn't about the crime he did, because people follow him and he had power. If he could tell people to sell drugs or whatever, he could tell people to vote. You know what I mean? Like people followed him. Like a lot of people loved him and followed him. So, that's why he got the time really. Because you don't get 45 years for selling drugs. Like, come on, like 45 years, like that's just. Hopefully, give it back, man. 'Cause that's my guy.
Yeah, look, I remember at the time that he was going through his case and he got sentenced. I remember there's even fake articles floating around saying that the judge thanked me for helping him to get convicted and everything.
They blame you for they blame you for that.
They blame me for everything. I've said this multiple times, and Arab has said the same thing. Whatever interviews we did had nothing to do with this case whatsoever. They were never brought up in court. They had nothing to do with nothing. He was talking about his past. That had nothing to do with the case that he got convicted for. He had an actual snitch in his crew that told on everybody.
Yeah, I know.
That's why he got convicted. It had nothing to do with Vlad TV interviews. And the really sad part, because I remember I interviewed this lawyer, Mo Gangat, who went through his case carefully. And what he said was, at the time of the sentencing, Ab was just really upset and had like a real kind of like angry look on his face. And the judge picked up on it and made a mention of it as he was giving him the 45 years.
Oh, like took it personal.
Took it personal. And I remember Mo, the lawyer, said that if that was his client, he would ask for a recess, pull him aside and say, "Listen, I know you're upset right now, but you gotta smile and be polite. Just get through this next 30 minutes because this is gonna affect the rest of your life." You know what I'm saying? Because judges do, like you said in your case, they're people just like you and me. They're petty, just like you and me. They'll take out their, they get a fight with their wife earlier that day. They'll take it out on you.
That's a shame.
It shouldn't be like that, but this is what happens.
Yeah. My case, the guy said I didn't do it. The judge got off the bench, walked down to the table and said, "I find something fishy going on. Immediate revoke his bail, immediate custody." I said, "What?" But he was right in front of my face. Like, So like, judges, they definitely get God complex and do whatever they want. I mean, but I think Ab gonna get out for some reason. I just feel like he's too talented and too gifted to be in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. I'm cool, with this manager with Dark Low. Like it's just the whole thing is sad, man. The whole thing is sad. I think Philly took a big loss when
For
he went to
sure.
prison.
That P&B Rock. You know?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, because those like the three guys, like Meek, P&B Rock, and Ab, and of course the Little Uzi. That's like the four most famous like rappers we got, in Philadelphia. So like, those are two big losses. I mean, so I mean,
Well, at one point, you claimed that Beanie Siegel was stealing money from state property.
yeah. Well, what happened was we had the first tour we went on. Mind you, I was young and I was stubborn, right? But I wasn't lying. Like, you took money, whatever, and I wouldn't let it go. Because I told you, like, 50,000, 100,000 for me was like, man, you know what I could have did with that? You know how much hustling I used to have to do to get that? Like, so I wouldn't let it go. And based though they never admitted to doing it, I just wouldn't let it go. You know what I mean? Of course, now I know like that type of shit don't even bother me like no more. As you grow as a person, you can't believe the stuff that I used to care about. But especially after I lost my son, it made a lot of things not important to me that I used to think. Then Beans came to my son's funeral. You know what I mean? Mind you, I've been dissing him for 20 years. Like, every time Beans, so like, when he came to my son's funeral, I told him, like, yo, man, all right, it's over. You know what I mean? Like, so, but when Beans got shot in Atlantic City, I was out there, to make sure I went straight to the hospital. I said, after he get better, we could go back to beefing. But like, you know what, like I told, it's a line between rap and then real life, you know what I mean? But like, I want nothing to happen to him. So I was out there, when he got shot, and he was there, when my son passed away. You gotta remember, we've been in the group since the 99. You know what I mean? Like 25 years, more than half our life. So like, we like almost like family members at this time, beefing family. But it's no beef now, right now. But so like, people grow up and they change. Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, in 2020, your son died in a car accident.
Yeah, worst thing I ever went through. Everything I went through is not even comparison to that, by times 1,000 is not compared to it at all.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm sorry for your loss, man. I can't even really imagine it, to be honest. Like,
I never felt like all the stuff I went through in my life, I never felt like I wanted to kill myself. That's the first time I just didn't want to live, because it was like the pain. Because people think it's a choice to be sad. You can't help it. You wake up, and that's what made me know. That's why I always say, like, you rich if you wake up happy. I realized I was rich, I didn't even know it until I started being sad every time I woke up. Like, oh my God, it's like you just feel dread. You know what I mean? So like, it was just like, matter of fact, he had a daughter that was 1 month old. I just was talking to her. Her birthday is tomorrow. She turned 4. You know what I mean? He only had her for 1 month. His last text to me was, "Dad, she looked just like me." You know what I mean? And then I had to see that car and everything, man. And Freeway made a song saying like, Oschino lost his son. I don't know what would happen if I lost mine. Then his son died the next day. You know what I mean? But the crazy part about it is I'm 4 days older than Freeway. We lost our sons 4 days apart. So when we lost our sons, we was the same exact age, like to the day. You know what I mean? And they buried right by each other. But it wasn't planned like that. It just happened to be like, you know what I mean? So when I go see my son, I always go to Freeway's son grave and clean it off and talk to his son, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, then Freeway lost his daughter too, though. I mean, so like, he don't have no kids no more, like, so, I mean, I always look at his situation like, well, at least I still got, I mean, but losing a kid, man, it's like, you can't explain how it feel. It make you feel guilty for being happy when you start, like, you might laugh at something, you feel guilty for that. You feel guilty for living, you feel like you could have did something different you as a parent, you feel all type of stuff. I mean, it's like a hard thing to deal with. I just got to the point where I could talk about it without crying. You know what I mean?
How old was your son at the time?
19.
Damn.
Yep. And he's with his girlfriend. It's like, I don't know if you got how many kids you got, but when you have like multiple kids, you always got one kid that's your favorite. You don't say it, you just know it. And they know it. Like, you know what I mean? So that was like my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we had our own little bond, like that was real tight, you know what I mean? So like, it was like, killed me, man. Like, it's about.
Yeah, your daughter's gonna beat you up after this interview. I mean, not only did you admit to, try to get her aborted, but now you're saying she's not your favorite. I'm just saying, whatever happens to you after this interview, that's on you. That's not on me.
My daughter, she know how she is. She's like an old lady. When I talk to my daughter, I feel like I'm talking to somebody older than me. Like she schooled me on like that don't do this. She a nurse. She had like no kids, never been in trouble. I don't know I don't know if I had something to do with it, but she turned out perfect. You know what I mean? I don't even take credit for that. She had a good mom, but like she just was, some kids is just bad. Some kids, no matter what they kind of parents they got, they just bad. Some kids just good, and she was a good one. You know what I mean? So like I'm proud of her a whole lot. You know what I mean? She make me look like I'm a good parent. Like I know like I did some extra good work or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. When me and Freeway lost our sons, man, that was like, then you see people on the internet talking, we sacrificed them and stuff. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean?
That's what the internet does, man. You gotta let the internet and not
yeah.
take it
But
too
but
seriously.
when it's something that you can't, like most stuff won't affect you. But if you had a kid you lost and you see anything, it's gonna make you're a human at the end of the day. Mind you, my son was in a car accident, so I never seen a car on fire. Then one day, I'm like 6 months later after he passed, I'm on Instagram. Somebody had videotaped it, and I just happened to see it. I mean, because I never saw it on fire, and then I see it, and it's like put me right back into my like. I mean, like that's why I see how what's the guy Anthony Bourdain who killed himself. I see how you can want to kill yourself. Like I mean, like because you just feel like everything is like you feel like nothing worth living. You feel like you just feel dread, and I know it's a mind thing, but it's like it's crazy how you could really. People, I never thought I could feel like that. I mean, and I've seen that can happen to anybody if it happened to me. I'm like, damn, because I've been through everything. I mean, I've been through it, but that thing almost broke me. So I mean, but and then Philadelphia got a lot of kids getting killed, murdered all the time. So I mean, and people don't really talk about it. You never know somebody going through just by seeing them. But with all the kids that's dying in Philly, I know it's a lot of people that's just hurting in Philly. You know what I mean?
Well, you have another son who's in prison right now?
Yeah, he in prison doing 20 to 40 years. You know what I mean? You know, well, I don't know if you know about the culture in Philly, but the young teenagers, guys in Philly, they got a murder culture. They that's what they do, murder. I'm talking about, they murder. The guns they have, shoot 1,000 times, broad daylight. I mean, so like, I mean, it's like a thing where though, and then they act like they tell the parents, you know, they're not doing this and not doing that. I didn't know. I mean, but like, you know, my son was grown anyway at the time, so like, but you know, he paying for it. Like, you know, he took the deal, and he'll get out one day. Hopefully, he'll just be a better person. You know what I mean, so I mean, but that hurt though. I lost both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going through what you went through, going through the shootings, being charged with murders and so forth, ultimately beating them, and then seeing your son actually follow your footsteps in a certain way. Did you blame yourself as a father? Like, yo, I should have.
Yeah, but
I should have been more involved. I should have had more talks with him. I should have.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is though. When you this what how it go, right? When you in the hood, my dad died when I was 12, right? I was with him for 9 months. He died in front of me. I knew him, but like not even really. I have no idea how to be a father. I was in jail all my life. I mean, like not making excuses, but like to be honest. So I thought if you buy them sneakers or feed them and that's it. Now I know that kids do what they see you do. They don't do what you say. They do what they see you do. But I mean, I didn't know none of that stuff. Like I'm raising kids. Like I'm just guessing. Like I mean, just guessing. Like, I mean, what to do. So like, if I could do it different, I would for sure. I would do it all the way different. You know what I mean? I would let them like not let them see the stuff I was doing. You know what I mean? Like or maybe not do it at all. You know what I mean? Because as a parent, any parent, if something happens, your kid do something, any parent gonna feel like it's part they fault, some type of way. You know what I mean? So like, you know, so I mean, so of course I feel like that. You know what I mean? But you know, at the end of the day, all you could do is just, I mean, because if he had life, it'd be different. You know what I mean? He got a lot of time, but he's gonna get out. You know what I mean? And, you know, I just hope he get out and become a better person. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think if he was out here, he would have had to either kill more people or probably would have got killed himself. That's kind of how they play out in Philly right now. I mean, so like, I mean, but it's a lot of stress for a parent.
So he actually admitted to the murder and took a plea deal.
Yeah, he took a plea deal.
Do you know the situation around it?
No, I mean, all I know is that a young kid got killed. You know what I mean? My dad always young, like teenagers. Like, I mean, I don't really know the exact details because he wasn't gonna tell me the truth. You know what I mean? I just know it was a young kid got killed. You know what I mean? So. And he got stabbed in jail over it, like, I mean, like, so it was like, it's just a lot, man. I mean, especially as a parent, you can't do nothing about it, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I mean, I can't even go to the kids that, you know, I don't even know who the kid is that died. Like, South Philly, I don't know nothing about South Philly. South Philly, I don't know, I mean, nothing about South Philly at all, but like, I know what it feel like to lose a kid. So I know both sides, you know what I mean? So I know both sides, so like, I mean, it's just that, you know, these kids out here, man, they run around with these guns, man, and they just like, they don't really understand the consequences of what they're doing.
Well, when you got shot in '97, they gave you Percocets.
Mind you, I never heard of them before. I never knew nothing about them. Because I think Percocets came out in 95. I think they got invented like 90. So I got them as soon as they got invented. Like they gave them to me. And I didn't even know they was a drug until like somebody told me one day I was in jail. I'm like, yo, I feel crazy. Boy, like, you take Percocets? You going through withdrawal? I said, what? And so so like the doctor's giving us 18-year-old kid Percocets. Not telling them, not giving them. But one thing about me, I was going to jail so much, I never got a chance to really be all the way addicted to them. Yeah, I get locked up. I got, locked up, they don't give you Percocets. So, that's like it. But once I found out I was going through withdrawal, and I left him alone, cold turkey.
Yeah. Beanie had his struggles with drugs over the years, between lean and pills and so forth. I remember at one point, the first time I interviewed him, he was like really, really heavy. This was like right before he went to jail. And then I think he got caught with drugs right before he was supposed to get locked up. And they locked him up early. Yeah, man. Pills, it seems like pills have taken over everything.
People don't understand, though, sometimes, like, in the ghetto, right, you go through all these different things that we act like it's normal. Like seeing your friends die, getting shot, going to prison, right? But it's not normal. So sometimes when you do drugs, people be just really coping. They really be coping. And without that drug, they probably won't make it. Because talking about, like, and then you can't even complain about it. Like you can't be like, well, I'm stressed out because everybody look at you weird. Like, you stressed out because you got shot. When you should be stressed out. Like, but like in the hood, you can't show no weaknesses. You can't. So like the whole culture of it is like, you got to try to just deal with it on your own. Even as a young kid, you got to deal with it on your own. And sometimes everybody can't handle it sober. You know what I'm saying? So you just be escaping. But see, I never did like smoke weed or smoke or nothing like that. I used to drink a lot, but then I stopped really doing that. Because one thing about prison, prison gonna keep you sober. You be in that joint living your best life.
Well, you and Neef Buck went back and forth.
Yeah.
How did that start?
Well, let me say this first, right? Neef Buck was like, out of state property, he was my favorite member. That was like my guy. When I was in jail, he wrote me, he only wanted to send me money, when I was in jail. So I come home, mind you, I was in jail for 3 years. I come home, I want to go back to rapping, but I don't know how to get on the iTunes, and I don't know the computer at all. So I know Neef Buck did, so I went to ask him, like, Neef, I want to get on iTunes. He's like, well, just put it on my mixtape. I said, you don't get paid for my mixtape. So he said, well, I'll show you how to do it. It's going to cost like $3,000 to get on iTunes. I'm like, damn, $3,000? I said, I just came home, I got like $800. He's like, well, get $1,500 and then you can owe me the rest. So in the mix of that, the next day I see something called TuneCore. I put $60 or whatever and put my music on there. Nothing happened for like 2 weeks. I'm like, man, that ain't work. Then one day some kid like, oh, your music on iTunes. I was like, what? So I'm calling Neef to try to say, like, see if he knew that he was trying to burn me or was it a mistake? He wouldn't answer the phone for like a year. Like, I'm talking about leaving the messages. And I couldn't believe that he would, like, I'm like, bro, so I don't know if he didn't want competition or I don't know why he did that to me when I just came home, but like, But again, even though this was only like about 8 years ago, I was a different See, when you in prison for a couple years, you won't go. Prison had you won't go. Like, so everything it happens, you just go full steam ahead at it. So I went full steam ahead at Neef. Like, I went hard on him. But one thing about me, whatever I say is not a lie. Everything I say be the truth, but I just probably handle it different. The way I handled it, I used to go hard. Like, so I said, Neef. So I called Neef. I said, Neef, you try to get me for $3,000. Give me $3,000. I'm telling everybody you read it. He didn't give me the $3,000. So, I told everybody that he read it. It was the truth, but but everybody turned on me for saying that anyway. Like, they thought it was crazy. I'm beefing with Beans, Meek, and Neef at the same time. Like this nigga is crazy. Like, he just want to start trouble. But they all pissed me off. They all did something to me. It's different if you can't tell somebody why you're mad at them, but I could tell you, like, each one of them why I felt some type of way about certain things. But I wouldn't handle the same thing like that now.
Well, when you said that he snitched, was that something you just made up, or
no,
did he actually
really
snitch?
No, he really told. I would never make that up about somebody.
Okay, who did he tell on?
It was this kid. He was at Best Buy buying some things at Best. There was this guy, a young kid working at Best Buy. If you give him like a couple thousand, he'd give you double merchandise. So he told Neef, don't come to a store. Neef came to the store to get the stuff. And when Neef started buying and getting the stuff out of the store, the cops came and locked him up. And he told, no, I got it from him and, whatever. So, that's all I needed. That's all the ammo I needed. Like, my thing is this. I'm from the streets. I'm not telling on nobody about nothing. That's just, and I know everybody don't live by that code, and I understand it's a dumb code, but that's the way I was raised. You know what I'm saying? Then we're across state property. Like, so like, it's the state property is a prison. Mind you, when I was going at Neef, I just got out of prison for doing a couple years, so I'm like, man, you can't be telling. But I mean, it ain't work. Everybody still mess with Neef, but I forgave him now. I never thought I would forgive him. I forgave him. You know what I mean? Because I just think different now. You know what I mean?
Well, right now, they're about to auction Dame Dash's 1/3 stake of Reasonable Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Dame Dash had basically lost a lawsuit and he couldn't pay up. So they're basically liquidating his assets. And this is one of his big assets. So as they're gearing up for this auction, Jay-Z announces that whoever buys it will only get it for 5 years.
Yeah, I seen that. So basically,
right.
messing with messing with how much it's worth, how much Dame could get for it.
Well, I mean, is he really messing with it, or is he kind of letting everyone know?
There was no need to let him know. Let him know for what? To mess with how much you gonna get for it. If you know you're getting it back in 5 years, what's the use of saying it?
Well, right, because I think Dame accused Jay of trying to undercut people, but I don't think Jay's going to buy it. What's the point of buying it if you're going to get it back in 5 years anyways?
Yeah, I'm saying, but he said it so it could hurt Dame Dash from getting money.
Well, the two of them haven't really gotten along very well.
Yeah, but I'm saying, my thing is this, that's why I said money don't equal happiness. Because if I got $1 billion, I'd be so happy that I don't think I would even want to care about doing stuff like that. You know what I mean, for what? I don't want to. My thing is, I don't want to see my friends' demise. I don't want to see nobody that even if we don't get along, I don't want to see a demise. I want to see you get as much as you can get.
Right, but what if it's not your friend anymore?
It don't matter. I mean, I'm not a hater like that. I mean, like my thing is, you still got kids. You still got family. I mean, you hate everybody that he's got to take care of. I mean, my thing is, so like, I mean, that's why I said like money don't equal happiness. People that say, you know, when you're happy, you don't really care about stuff like that. You be so busy somewhere else on the boat, somewhere like you're not thinking about trying to stop him from getting a couple $1 million, whatever. I got to build, like, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I'll tell you though, man, in my experience, the richest people are the most petty. That's what I found. You would think otherwise. They're the most petty. They're usually the most insecure. They get the most angry. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And I catch myself doing the shit sometimes myself also. And I got to remind myself that like, yo, like this is ridiculous behavior, but it still happens.
But at least you can keep it real with yourself, though, and say that.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do that. Like, for instance, Joe Budden was on his podcast, right? And he said, I said something about Jay-Z taking a stand on Beans and not saying he won't be responsible for him. And Joe Budden was talking about it on his podcast and said Jay-Z called him and said that I was capping. Like I was lying or something. I'm like, what? A billionaire said I was lying when he know I'm not lying? Like, who cares what I say? You Jay-Z, like, I mean, you ain't supposed to, I mean, but I know Jay-Z watch everything. I mean, but my thing is this. I don't care who the fuck you is. Like, to me, all men is the same. I know you got money or whatever. If you're a sucker, you do sucker shit, you're a sucker to me, period. But these days, everybody dicky and everybody get a different standard. So if you got money, you get held by a different standard. I don't care about it because that's why I don't underneath nobody's thumb. So I don't work for you, so I don't gotta do what you want me to do. I say the truth, how I really feel. Because my thing is this, if I did certain things that by somebody else did, if they had money, they'd hold me accountable for it, but this person, they won't. I mean, that's how society is. I mean, so like people that got money walk around doing anything they want because nobody's gonna say nothing to them about it. I mean, and if they do say something about them, they're hating. We gonna get caught. I mean, so like.
Well, look, like I've had my dealings with Dame Dash. You know, we both publicly talked about it. We don't get along. I really wanted to fuck with Dame Dash. Dame Dash was one of my heroes when I was just a hip hop fan before I was DJ Vlad. Like you saw him on TV and he's part of this whole Roc-a-Fella thing. But once we started to do some interviews with each other, I interviewed him, he interviewed me, and we started hanging out a little bit. I just didn't really like being around him. He would be really kind of insulting when he's around you. He would kind of put you down and kind of like sneak diss you and say certain things. And then, you try to set him up with a deal. Then he'd end up publicly bashing the person you set him up with. And at one point I just said, I'm cool. I don't need to work with someone I don't really want to work with. And I think that from my point of view, from the outside looking in, it appeared that Dame was an integral part of making Roc-a-Fella. No one's going to deny that on any level. But he also became a liability after a while. Like, like the whole Steve Stout slapping incident. You know about that, right?
Yeah, I heard about it, yeah.
I've talked to people that were there that saw it. Like, for example, because the story is behind that was that Dame didn't like anyone working with Jay unless he was involved in it. And Steve Stout hooked up Jay with that sneaker deal. Dame found out about it, walked into Steve Stout's office and slapped him right in the middle of the office in front of everybody.
He ain't do nothing.
You can't do this in the corporate world. This is a Def Jam Universal offices. You see what I'm saying?
But see, when it comes to Dame Dash, I'm biased. Like, and I know I'm biased. It's like because I know him and I love him. So like I'm. It's like you have your little brother. Your little brother might do some shit. You're like, that's my little brother though. Like you know what I'm saying. So like I mean, like, but what I know of him, like I just know he do what he say, and he care about people. I mean, but of course everybody got their own version of how they see him. I mean, but like with me, I just like, I ride or die with him. Like, that's my guy. Cause he was there for me. We talk about certain things that's personal. But look at Kevin Hart. It won't be a lot of people that he put on that became super big that Hov wouldn't have put these people on.
Yeah, I mean,
at all.
Kanye, you could say that he revived Cameron's career when Cameron was sort of, in limbo a little bit.
The guy who did Empire, the boy who did the movie Precious, I mean, Dame's a hustler. I think Dame misunderstood.
Dame was involved in Precious, was he?
No, the director who made Precious.
Oh, yeah, the director.
Who did Empire, you know what I mean? Remember he had the movie called The Woodsman, I think it was called The Woodsman, I think, or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah. You're talking about Lee Daniels.
Yeah, him, I mean.
No, listen, I don't think no one's doubting Dame's contribution. Like, no one's trying to write him out of history.
I'm saying, but people always pick sides. If you're with Jay-Z, you got to be against Dame Dash. Like,
I'm not with Jay-Z. I don't know Jay-Z at all.
Like society,
but what I'm saying is you got people like me who have nothing to do with Jay-Z, who have no loyalty to Jay-Z whatsoever. I met Jay-Z briefly once or twice. I try to be cool with Dame Dash. I try to do business with Dame Dash. I'm still down to do business with Dame Dash because for me, it's like whatever. If we just, like you said, internet shit, back and forth, who cares? It's not the real world.
When the last time you talked to him? Was it a long time ago? Like, was it like years?
The last time me and him got on the phone, or no, it wasn't even on the phone. We texted, but the last time we talked in person was probably maybe about 8 years ago, something like that, 8, 9 years ago. It's been a while.
It's probably different Dame right now.
It's been a while, but we've publicly talked shit about each other lots of times since then.
But I think like as far as the industry go, people can get over that. I think I would. Like,
I think so too, man. I think so too. Like for me, it was kind of amusing when he said that anyone who buys reasonable doubt for more than 10 million, he's going to throw in a Roc-a-Fella chain.
Oh, I seen it on the internet. I mean,
that's the equivalent of throwing in an air freshener when you buy a new car.
But not to everybody though. There's some people that's like really like grew up seeing that. Like that thing changed a lot to a lot of people back. I mean, I know what you're saying, but like to somebody.
Yeah, but over a $10 million sale.
But I mean,
it's a very small percentage.
Yeah. Remember the guy bought the Wu-Tang Clan album for like $1 million.
Yeah, but Martin Shkreli, I interviewed him.
Yeah. Oh, you interviewed him like that?
Yeah. Well, I interviewed not only him, but the people who bought it from him afterwards also. I know all about that story, yeah.
Oh, he sold, yeah, he did sell it.
He ended up selling it, exactly.
Yeah, but
I mean, listen, I'm sure it's a cool collector's item, but I'm saying on a $10 million sale, and the problem with that as well is that I talked to someone who used to be the head of the biggest publishing company in America, and I asked him about how much Dame's cut is worth per year. He said at the very, very most, maybe $1 million a year. So if you think about $1 million a year, 5 years, no one's going to spend $10 million on buying Reasonable Doubt. But, you see what I'm saying? Because you're going to lose money.
Can't you promote it though? If you bought it, can't you promote it?
You can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's a 30-year-old album that's, yes, it gets some streams. It might get used in some commercials or whatever, movies here and there. But it's not like the new Drake album.
Let me say this, God forbid, I'm not, I wish death on nobody, but say for instance somebody passed away, right? And you own that rights to this album CD is over.
For 5 years.
Yeah, but that's the 5 years you're gonna make. Like when Prince died or anybody died, their music just go crazy. Like you see Nipsey, their music go, not saying you wait hope for that, I'm just saying like.
No, I don't think Jay-Z gonna die within 5 years.
I hope not. I hope not. I mean,
regardless, all I'm saying is $10 million, I don't think he's gonna get that amount of money because it makes no business sense to do it. You know what I'm saying? I would say it'll probably sell for about 2 or 3 million. That'd be about
I say 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think
you want to make a bet?
No,
You want to make a bet on camera?
Listen, you sound like you're smarter than me, so you might know about business more than me. So
I'm not smarter than you, man. We all have our information. You know, I mean, I'm sharing. I'm sharing the information with you.
Like,
you know,
I think 7 million. You say 2?
Well, if it's only going to make up to 5 total, and that's maybe 5 years from now, it would make business sense to spend about 2, maybe 3 at the most. If I were to buy it, if someone said, listen, you know, we'll sell it to you right now, the most I would offer is $2 million.
But you could promote it though and make it do numbers.
Reasonable doubt is reasonable doubt. It's already in history.
But a lot of kids don't know about reasonable doubt. That came out when I was young.
But even the amount of money you get from streams is so little. Because you even talked about how with the state property projects, you don't really get very much.
Yeah, my money comes from my stuff I put out on my own. Like, I mean, my independent stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right about that. But I remember there's a lot of people in state property group, so it's, it's split a lot of ways. But I mean, I'm pretty sure Jay-Z CDs do make millions. It has to. Everybody in the world listening to it. People, the world is big.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but I don't trust the numbers they say that it's doing anyway. Who makes those numbers? Like somebody just in a room just pushing how many? Like I don't believe. I think they just telling people anything they want to hear. I mean, I don't believe nobody really get the honest truth of how. Because there's no way to tell. There's no way to tell.
Yeah, but you can't say that an album that's 30 years old is not going to stream in the same way as a hot album for an A-list artist. Not. That's all I'm saying.
And then an old artist not going to stream like a young artist.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly. And Jay-Z at this point is a catalog artist. You know, he may come out with something here or there if he feels like it.
You know,
but his best work is in his past.
I don't understand why, like, you know, like rock and roll, they got like soft rock, hard rock. I don't understand in rap why they don't do something like that. Like, instead of a person that's 50 or 45 going against a young kid, like in the Grammys or whatever, they should have different categories, I think. Because say an old artist, he'd win his category. Now, he'd be hotter than he would be, I mean, if he lost to somebody young, because he'd number one in his category. But like rock and roll, like rock and roll got something like kind of like that, like, you know what I mean? But like,
I mean, sort of. I mean, you got adult contemporary and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, you got lots of classic hip hop stations now.
Cause like, say Nas came out with a CD, people still love Nas, right? But he probably won't. Yeah. He probably won't win against a Kodak Black or something like.
I think
Lil Baby
he won a Grammy. I think Nas has recently won some Grammys for his albums recently.
Yeah, I'm saying, but he shouldn't be in the category going against Lil Baby. Because Lil Baby, now, even if Nas, you know, got a lot of fans, I just feel like they should make it like a different category for like in rap instead of just having one rap, everybody against each other. And I mean, because no matter how, if you owe, it's over. It's over. I mean, you're not gonna ever like. You know what I mean, you're never gonna win it because rap is a young person game.
Well, music just in general. I mean, if you look at any artist from any genre, whether it's rap, rock and roll, country, pop, dance, whatever, everyone's best work, almost 99% of the time, is always in the 30s or younger.
Yep.
Every so often, like George Clinton did Atomic Dog when he was like 41. So there's a little bit of a cusp here and there, but even like the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, all the all-time greats, by the time they hit 40, their best stuff is behind them. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I don't make these rules. You know what I'm saying?
You know why? You know why though? Because they can't say, they're more conscious about what they're saying. Like they don't want they can't say certain things they probably could say when they was, without worrying about it when they're 30s. And you know what I mean? Like certain things you probably can't say when you get older. You know what I mean? But it's a young man's game anyway though. Who feel like being on the road in this club and all right, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man. I mean, you got to transition. I mean, I knew at one point I wasn't going to be able to DJ in clubs into my 40s. You know, so once I was in my 30s, I had to start thinking all the time about what I'm going to do. And first it was the DVDs. And then when YouTube came around, I saw the potential of it. But I was always thinking, like, I'm not going to be 50 still trying to get DJ gigs. Like, this is not a real thought. I was going to end up doing DoorDash. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was not going to be, this was not going to be my future. So, I mean, listen, and look, let me tell you, the majority of people that drop off food at my house, DoorDash, not a majority, but I'd say a good 30% of them are senior citizens. You know, and that shit scares me.
Are convicted felons?
That shit scares me. I don't want to, you know, by the time I'm in my 60s, I'm 51 now. By the time I'm in my 60s, I don't want to have to worry about extra money. Like, I'm not worried about extra money now, but I don't want to make bad moves to have suddenly be in a situation where suddenly I can't pay my bills and I have to start doing side gigs. So, you know, you got to plan ahead, man. You got to plan ahead.
For sure. For sure. Oh yeah, I brought you a gift too.
Yeah, let's see the gift.
Let me show you a gift. This is like with Dave Dash, like he bring him a gift. You know what I mean, y'all guys, y'all rich guys.
Yeah,
ain't this dope?
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, man,
that's actually a shot from when I did Drink Champs with Nori.
Yeah, I was on there twice. Drink Champs, Nori, my God.
Yeah,
I met Nori.
Thank you, man.
When I got signed to state property, Roc-a-Fella, I seen Nori on the corner in New York one day, right? I was a young guy, and I just drove up to him. It was him, Nature, and Cardan. I said, yo, man, I'm Oschino. I just signed to state property. We just did the movie. Can I do a song with you? Like, come on, go upstairs in the studio right now. And he got Cardan and Nature on there. Like, I'm talking about, they know me from a can of paint. And after that, I said, oh, I mess with Nori. You know what I mean? I said, oh, he just did a song. I was so hyped, because, Nori that guy. I mean, Nori was that guy in the late 90s when the NORE came out. I mean, so this, this is a gift right here. Free, no charge. I mean, it's gonna be
Thank you, man.
I mean,
that means a lot. This is actually, I think this is the first time anyone's ever painted me. I've had people send me like digital paintings and stuff like that, but this is the first time someone actually put it on canvas.
Yeah, because somebody sat there and took time.
Someone sat there. Yeah, man. Thank you.
To pay the women, get you a gift. I just think sometimes doing little stuff, thoughtful stuff. I hate when somebody come around and just want to ask you for something all the time. Yo, give me the, you know how that comes. Then when you come, they looking at you like, what this nigga want now? Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'd rather be the person giving. You know what I mean? So.
Well, thank you, man. Well, Oschino, man, this is a long time coming. And,
listen,
look.
I want to say something. Lil Boozy.
Yeah.
Listen, I never met him. That's my guy, right? I had a cabinet in my house with all his cologne, his potato chips that never opened. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he real. Like, and he don't give a fuck. He just he just say what he feel. You know what I mean? And I fuck with Lil Boozy, man. So like, I had to give Lil Boozy a shout out on here. Like, because I don't look at him as I look at the other rappers. I just look at them as just rappers. I look at him as a boy like from like the neighborhood, even though we from a different city. I look at him like somebody I would know. If we from the same town, I know him. So I had to shout Lil Boozy out. Period.
Oh yeah, that's my man. And we've been rocking for like 20 years now, I think. Like it's been a while now. We've been really rocking with each other, and we've always stayed solid with one another. And he's definitely one of the realest, if not the realest person I've ever met.
Yeah, when I see Lil Boozy on there, I stop. I watch everything he do. Like, that's why he got fans, because he's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I fuck with Lil Boozy. So shout out Lil Boozy. Period.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, Oschino, you started. A lot of people like to say they started from the bottom or they had it rough, but you really started from the bottom.
Yeah, for sure.
You were born into a very unfortunate situation that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
And it continued up until your early 20s.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I don't think, would have been strong enough to get through the teenage years that you got through.
Yeah, for sure.
But you got through it, and you channeled it, and you turned it into something. And, I'm glad to see you're still doing well. I'm sorry for your loss of your son. I'm sorry for your other son going to prison. But you got a cool daughter, you know?
Yeah, cool daughter.
That you can still go and hug whenever you want to.
I got two cool daughters.
Right. And you got grandkids.
Yeah, yep. But her birthday tomorrow, shout late.
So there's always been a silver lining with
plus,
everything
the last thing I'm gonna say is like, when you want to be better, like you don't think you're perfect, you need to be worked on, you get better. A lot of people don't think there's nothing wrong with them. They got this cool already. Like, I know that I got work to do with myself. So so I strive to be better. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it works for me. You know what I mean?
That's what it is, man. Appreciate you coming in. Until next time.
So I'm about to go enjoy this New York while I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And shout out Say Cheese. You know what I mean? That's my guy, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out Sean Cotton. He's the one that actually, because I was just talking to him about something else. And he was like, yo, bro, you got to get Oschino on your show. You haven't got him yet. I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. So that's why, I reached out right away.
Yeah, and reach out again. I'll be back again, man.
That's what it is.
Yeah, straight up. All right, peace out, Vlad.
Peace.